This page is the front cover of SEGA Saturn magazine, issue dated August 8, 1997, and priced at 350 yen. It's bursting with information on the latest SEGA Saturn games. The cover highlights a special feature on anime movies coming this summer, mentioning titles like Neon Genesis, Evangelion, and Slayers. Game announcements and previews are splashed across the page, including highly anticipated titles like Resident Evil, Super Robot Wars, F, and Last Bronx. RPG fans have plenty to look forward to, with mentions of Panzer Dragoon Saga RPG, Cul-de-Sept, and The Lost World, Jurassic Park. There's also news on adventure and strategy games like Grandia, Desire, Transport Tycoon, and even a digital pinball title called Last Gladiators. Fighting game enthusiasts will be interested in Dead or Alive. The page also teases a feature on Slayers Royal as the latest must-have SEGA Saturn game, alongside other titles like Langrisser IV, Mega Man X4, and the soccer management sim J-League Pro Soccer Club Otsukuru 2. You can also see a vibrant anime-style illustration taking center stage on the cover. This page appears to be an advertisement for the SEGA Saturn game Last Bronx, proclaiming, "This is cool." It highlights Last Bronx as the ultimate weapon-based fighting game. The advert shows a nighttime urban cityscape scene in the background, where two characters are engaged in combat on a rooftop. Below this scene, a lineup of 8 characters, presumably the fighters from Last Bronx, are presented, showcasing their diverse looks and weapon styles. It seems to be emphasizing the game's intense fighting action and character variety, promising a thrilling final stage experience for players. This page continues to promote Last Bronx, asking, "Ultimate game?" The page emphasizes the game's intense action, showing a central image of a cool-looking character with a staff, and the phrase, "Show me the real thing." It highlights the game's storyline, mentioning the legendary Team Soul crew and the collapse of the balance of power between teams in Tokyo, leading to a second Tokyo War. The text suggests that the leader of a team was murdered, pushing the story towards the last stage. Gameplay screenshots showcase the fighting action, and logos for various teams are visible, including Katsushika Dumpsters, Shinjuku Mad, Neo Soul, Dogma, Orchids, Helter Skelter, and B-Troops. The bottom news section announces a Last Bronx theme song, CD, titled Jaggy Love/AD Secrets, releasing on August 6th. There is also an advertisement for the SEGA Saturn RPG Grandia, mentioning a free trial version available at a campaign event on July 27th. Finally, a Cool Pad Present campaign is advertised, where purchasing SEGA Saturn software and hardware between June 20th and August 31st might get you a Cool Pad controller. A SEGA Saturn console is pictured with a suggested retail price of 20,000 yen. This page announces the Virtual Coliseum third round tournament for Decathlete for SegaNet, a SegaNet Link online competition running from August 15th to September 7th. It's hyped as a major event for gamers across Japan, using the online communication capabilities of Decathlete for SegaNet. This is the third Virtual Coliseum and is a nationwide qualifying event leading to the Tokyo Game Show 97 Autumn. The top players will compete for special prizes, which are custom gold, silver, and bronze SEGA Saturn consoles, along with matching medals for first, second, and third place respectively. For those wanting more details, they can check in-store flyers, the SEGA homepage, or contact the SEGA Enterprises office. The page also breaks down the cost of online play. It highlights how affordable it is compared to arcades, showing a breakdown. 10 yen for X-Band host sign-up, 10 yen for about 3 minutes of play, and a 60 yen matching fee for 3 matches, totaling just 80 yen for roughly 3 minutes of online competition. The SEGA Saturn Media Card, which you need for online play, costs 2,000 yen for 100 uses. The page features an image of the SEGA Saturn console, modem, and characters from Decathlete. This page is an advert promoting SegaNet, Sega's online gaming service, highlighting the Decathlete for SegaNet game. It mentions that to join in, you'll need a SEGA Saturn modem. And as a special offer for this summer, the Decathlete for SegaNet game is included free with the SEGA Saturn modem basic set. This commemorates the first anniversary of X-Band, and you can still use SuperNet for online play. The campaign runs from August 8th to September 30th. At the bottom, there are screenshots of other online compatible games, such as Bust-A-Move 3 for SegaNet, Puyo Puyo Sun for SegaNet, and Full Car Mini 4 WD Super Factory for SegaNet, with release dates mentioned for some. On the right side, there's a section listing popular software currently on sale. This includes Virtua Fighter Remix, SEGA Rally Championship Plus, Saturn Bomberman, Daytona USA, Championship Circuit Edition, and Cyber Troopers Virtualon, all communication battle versions designed for online play and listed with their prices. At the very bottom, contact details for SEGA Enterprises and their website are provided. This page showcases Side Pocket 3, a 3D polygon billiard game for the SEGA Saturn. The advert features a stylish woman character leaning on a pool table, cue in hand, surrounded by billiard balls. It really emphasizes the realistic feel of the game, mentioning the real feel in Japanese. Below the main image, you can see the Side Pocket 3 logo prominently displayed. The advert also includes the game box art, price listed at 5,800 yen, and states it's currently on sale. It also mentions that a PlayStation version is planned for release this autumn. Interestingly, it credits the Japan Billiard Association for supervision and a professional pool player, Megain Super Institute, for cooperation, suggesting they aimed for authenticity in the game. This page delves into the story mode of a billiard game, likely Side Pocket 3 given the previous page's focus, although it's not explicitly stated here. It sets the scene in a Western-style mansion, where players will encounter bizarre characters and engage in billiard battles. The text hints at mysteries and conspiracies, suggesting a narrative-driven experience where the player, named Fujisaki Ryo, must solve puzzles, outsmart opponents, and ultimately hope for victory in a grand tournament. Then, the page transitions into a lighthearted, very easy billiard lecture, specifically the Manners Edition, presented by Kyan Sonobe. This section uses cartoon illustrations to humorously teach billiard etiquette. It emphasizes key don'ts, like playing drunk, talking loudly, touching the table outside of gameplay, wearing geta sandals, and standing behind someone taking a shot. The overall message is to have fun while respecting billiard manners. Finally, at the bottom, there's an advertisement for a Cool Pad gift campaign for SEGA Saturn. It mentions that if you purchase specific SEGA Saturn software and hardware during a certain period, June 20th to August 31st, you can receive a cool pad at participating stores. This page is a promotional spread for Resident Evil, also known as Biohazard in Japan, announcing its release on the SEGA Saturn. The page prominently features the game's title in bold red letters at the top. Below the title it states, Biohazard, SEGA Saturn version, now available, and now on sale in English. The page also showcases portraits of key characters from the game, Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, Barry Burton, and what appears to be Rebecca Chambers. These character images are framed against a blurry backdrop that seems to depict a location within the iconic Spencer Mansion. At the bottom of the page there are details about the software being for SEGA Saturn and labeled as Survival Horror, with descriptions of positive reviews and a standard price of 4,800 yen, excluding tax. Further down, there's standard Capcom company information, including phone numbers for different regions in Japan, website details, and copyright information for Capcom from 1996 and 1997. There are also small logos for a Cool Pad gift campaign and a Rockman 10th anniversary celebration at the bottom right corner. The page is clearly advertising the SEGA Saturn version of Resident Evil as being available for purchase. This page showcases an advertisement for a Koei strategy RPG on the SEGA Saturn called Mori Motonari, Chikai no Mitsuya, which translates to Mori Motonari, 3 Arrows of Oath, and is part of the Hero Chronicles series. The tagline at the top, "Can't wait until Sunday night," hints at the anticipation surrounding the game's release. The page features a mock-up of a TV screen displaying in-game characters, with the words Taiga Game prominently shown, suggesting a grand historical scope, similar to Japanese taiga dramas. Below, we see a SEGA Saturn console and controller, emphasizing the platform. The game is advertised for release on October 2nd, priced at 7,800 yen. The text at the bottom provides a brief description, highlighting the dramatic portrayal of the tumultuous history of the Mori clan and the interconnected fates of the people who supported their ambition, promising complex human drama and numerous strategic battles across 3 generations. This page is an advertisement for Koei's strategy games and their power-up kits on the SEGA Saturn, declaring it the evolution theory of historical simulation games. On the left, it highlights the power-up kit for Nobunaga's ambition, Tenshuki, emphasizing the heated battles of the Sengoku period, offering deeper gameplay and new scenarios where players can freely edit character abilities. On the right, it promotes the power-up kit for Romance of the Three Kingdoms IV, focusing on rich human stories across the continent, promising deeper and more extensive human drama, with features like scenario editors and enhanced historical events allowing players to freely create their own Three Kingdoms drama. Nobunaga's Ambition. Tenshuki Power-Up Kit is priced at 9,800 yen, and Romance of the Three Kingdoms IV Power-Up Kit is 7,800 yen, both set for simultaneous release on September 11th. This page is an advertisement for the SEGA Saturn role-playing game Slayers Royal. It's highlighted as a SEGA Saturn exclusive with a completely original scenario supervised by Kanzaka Hajime, the original author of Slayers. The ad proclaims, "This time, it's SEGA Saturn Slayers," announcing its release today at a price of 6,300 yen. The main characters Lena Inverse, Guri Gabriev, and Zelgadis are prominently featured in artwork. Smaller panels advertise gameplay features with taglines like, "Movie scenes too, don't miss them," and "Battle scenes are powerful, you know." There's also a promotion for a Cool Pad Present campaign associated with SEGA Saturn software purchases. This page is an advertisement for Lupin III Chronicles on SEGA Saturn, celebrating the 30th anniversary of Lupin III. It's presented as an 8 inches 1 Chronodrome collection, priced at 5,800 yen. The collection appears to be a data disc compilation with various features, not necessarily a game itself. The advertised content includes an opening movie, character history, sound collection, a Lupin library, Maniac quiz, comic data show, and an ending movie. It seems to cover content from the TV First Series, TV Second Series, Lupin vs. Clone, and Castle of Cagliostro anime, promising a deep dive into Lupin's history and charm. They are also running a Chronicle Must Items campaign, where you can win real goods in a lottery. Prizes include original movie artwork or animation cells for 200 people, a set of 3 original postcards for 500 people, and an original B2 poster for 1,000 people. To enter, you need to use the questionnaire postcard included in the package, or visit the Spike website. This page showcases The Game of Life DX2 for PlayStation and Sega Saturn, a board game-style title by Takara. It's advertised as being now on sale for 5,800 yen. The game boasts that it allows you to live out your dreams, whatever they may be. The page highlights different playstyles and ambitions you can pursue in the game. For those dreaming of a glamorous life, you can become an F1 racer, marry a supermodel, and own a museum. If you prefer a fun and exciting life, the game offers twice the event count of the previous title, with 2,000 events, lots of laughs, and plenty of minigames. For players seeking a more meaningful life, focused on justice and morality, the game introduces a moral parameter alongside intelligence, physical strength, and senses, allowing you to be a good person. The page also mentions new additions like travel squares, where you can explore overseas maps with tour guides, offering both opportunities and risks depending on player choices. It emphasizes the freedom to choose your career and enjoy various life events, from romance to marriage. Screenshots show gameplay elements like board game spaces and character interactions. The advert seems to be targeting a broad audience by showcasing different aspirations players might have and how the game caters to them. This page showcases Nightruth, explanation of the paranormal for the Sega Saturn. It's presented as a game exploring paranormal mysteries, hinted at by the tagline, "Two Truths Only." The page features a prominent anime-style girl character, wielding a sword, standing within a magical circle, creating a supernatural atmosphere. There are also smaller images, showcasing other characters from the game. The text describes a story involving a series of bizarre incidents in what should be a peaceful town. It mentions high school students investigating these mysteries, suggesting a focus on uncovering the truth behind strange occurrences. The narrative seems to revolve around confronting a powerful enemy that appears before them, promising to be the biggest mystery in the series. The release date for Nightruth is set for July 25th, and it's priced at 5,800 yen. The page also lists several voice actors involved in the project. Finally, there's a small advert promoting a cool pad as a present, likely a bonus item, and a website URL is provided for more information on the game. This page introduces Soldner Child Zeltra, described as a fantastic simulation RPG for the Sega Saturn. The tagline highlights the player becoming a legendary hero as a mercenary soldier. The artwork features several characters: the protagonist, Cortez, Smiley, and Ferdinand, each with a small circular portrait. The main illustration shows a group of characters, likely central figures in the game's narrative, with a medieval fantasy style. The text details the game's story, focusing on a mercenary fighting in a war-torn continent. The protagonist is aiming to end the conflict and bring peace to the land. The game seems to emphasize strategic warfare and dramatic storytelling within its simulation RPG framework. It mentions that the game will depict the battles of mercenary forces and is a heroic tale about bringing peace. Screenshots show gameplay, featuring tactical battle scenes with miniature units on a grid-based map, typical for simulation RPGs. The price is listed as 6,800 yen, with a planned autumn release. The bottom of the page provides publisher and developer information, listing SEGA Enterprises as the seller and SEGA Enterprise as the developer and copyright holder in 1997. This page showcases 2 games for the SEGA Saturn. The main focus is on Beach to Reach, a Bishoujo mahjong game where you aim to capture the hearts of pretty girls through mahjong. It seems to be set during a summer beach vacation, and gameplay involves both mahjong and dating sim elements. The characters are Misaki Akari, voiced by Kikuko Inoue, Akino Kaori, voiced by Mika Kanai, and Takao Yuri, voiced by Konami Yoshida. The game features a story mode, free battle mode, and a mahjong classroom mode to help players learn the game. Beach to Reach for the SEGA Saturn is scheduled for release in October at a price of 5,800 yen. Also featured is Go 2i Professional Taikyoku Duju for the SEGA Saturn, a Go game which was released on August 1st for 6,800 yen. The page highlights the game's improved engine, beautiful graphics, classic background music, and customizable options such as board and stone types. It also boasts 12 difficulty levels and features for both beginners and advanced players, with various board sizes and game modes. The game also supports mouse control. This page highlights Universal Nuts, an adventure game for the SEGA Saturn set to be released in autumn of '97 for 5,800 yen. The game's tagline suggests a mystery in space, asking, "Even in space, there are oceans of riddles." The page features a cool anime girl character standing confidently and another man hanging upside down, adding to the intriguing atmosphere. The text teases a suspenseful scenario with clues like burning cigarettes, half-finished soup, a chessboard in the middle of a match, and a crashed ferry enveloped in calm air, except for the fact that there is not a single crew member or passenger. It mentions a holder system and reminiscence mode as key gameplay elements in this space adventure, hinting at a story where you'll need to search for clues and uncover the truth. 3 small screenshots at the bottom give a glimpse into the game's visual style and interface. It definitely looks like a unique and mysterious adventure for Saturn owners to look forward to. This page is an advertisement for Yogi Animation Academy, promoting their art and animation courses with a tie-in to the Disney movie Hercules. They are highlighting an impressive 98.74% job placement rate for graduates and emphasizing an art education that's good, cheap, and powerful. The ad features a large image of Hercules and advertises a Disney Cinema special preview of the movie Hercules, suggesting the school is involved in some kind of promotional event around the film. The preview is scheduled for July 26th. The school emphasizes practical skills and boasts about nurturing talent that can see the future. They offer free trial lessons and consultations and highlight courses in Osaka and Tokyo, including game design, anime director, background art, SFX direction, and more. They also promote charisma map art aptitude diagnosis and offer courses in video artistry, like video journalist, documentary, reporter, music video, and adventure video production. The ad lists numerous locations across Japan where the school has branches, from Tokyo to Okinawa, and they also mention a free audition for new voice actor talent, scheduled for August in Osaka, September in Nagoya, and November in Tokyo. It seems like a comprehensive art and animation school, aiming to attract new students with the Disney movie tie-in and promises of career success. This page is an advertisement showcasing 2 books for Cyber Troopers Virtual On. The first book, Graphics Perspective, is a 112-page, all-color art book priced at 2,000 yen, focusing on the game's visuals. The second, Reference Schematic, is a 208-page book costing 2,400 yen and appears to be a more detailed schematic and reference guide. Both are advertised to be released together at the end of August. The ad emphasizes that everything is here, relating to Virtual On, suggesting comprehensive coverage in these publications. It also mentions they are published by SoftBank Publishing Department. This page showcases a range of Sakura Wars official books. The main highlight is the Sakura Wars Activity Photo Collection, boasting a collection of memorable scenes and moments from the game, bringing the excitement of Sakura Wars to life again through photos. It promises to be a must-have for fans. Alongside this, there are advertisements for 3 other Sakura Wars books. Sakura Wars Imperial Assault Secret File seems to be packed with classified information, while Sakura Wars Original Picture and Setting Material Collection focuses on the artistic side, offering original artwork and design documents. Finally, there's the Sakura Wars Flower Group Match Columns Official Guide. For fans of the Columns puzzle game within Sakura Wars, this guide dives deep into game modes, techniques, and player character specifics, even revealing secret techniques and strategies to enhance your gameplay. The page also mentions a SEGA Saturn Magazine photo, CD Maniac Collection Volume 1, which is a Klydrom containing a vast collection of character and mecha designs, CG illustrations, including unreleased material, and is compatible with Sega Saturn, Windows, Macintosh, and other platforms. This page is packed with exciting game guides coming soon. First up is the Zeroion Champ Doozy J Perfect Guide, covering both PlayStation and Sega Saturn versions. This guide promises to demystify everything about machine performance and tuning. Plus, it reveals all the secrets, including partner events and a massive 248 endings. You'll even find info on the minigames and RPG elements. And it seems like they're even throwing in t-shirts and music crids as presents. Next, we have the Top Skater Trick Book for the awesome Sega Saturn skateboarding game Top Skater. This book is your complete guide to mastering all the tricks and uncovering hidden characters. They're boasting it's the only book you'll need to become a top skater and impress your friends. Finally, for Sonic fans, there's the Sonic Jam Official Guide. This guide is your one-stop shop for conquering the coolest world of Sonic in Sonic Jam, the compilation game. It covers all the classics, Sonic 1, 2, 3, Sonic and Knuckles, and Sonic World, promising to explore everything about Sonic and his pals. Get ready to dive deep into these iconic Sonic adventures. This page from the Sega Saturn magazine unveils the contents of the issue, highlighting summer movie anime features and a special report on upcoming game information. The magazine declares that anime movies are the go-to for summer viewing, mentioning big titles like Neon Genesis, Evangelion, Slayer's Great, and Princess Mononoke as summer conversation starters. The special reports section dives into games and related media. It looks like there's coverage on the Neon Genesis Evangelion digital card library and Super Robot Wars. Music fans might be interested in an article on Chisato Moritaka's songs Watara Sebashi / La La Sunshine. Game previews or features seem to be lined up for Last Bronx, The Lost World, Jurassic Park, Resident Evil alongside Culdicept, Panzer Dragoon Saga, listed as Azel Panzer Dragoon RPG, and Suikoden, mentioned as Gensu Suikoden. Continuing down the list, there's content for Mobile Suit Z Gundam Part 2. Soaring into Space, a game called Ronde Rondo, Princess Crown, and Grandia. Also mentioned are Real Sound Kaze, No Regret, Tactics Formula, Zardna Shield alongside Desire, Last Gladiators Verni, 9.7, Transport Tycoon, Graduation, temporary title, Dead or Alive, and Samurai Showdown. IV. Amakusa's Revenge, listed as Samurai Spirits Amakusa Kurin. The page illustration features a muscular character with a hammer, possibly hinting at one of the fighting games being covered in this issue, like Last Bronx or Last Gladiators. This page dives into the latest Sega Saturn game news and provides a handy game index. Under SEGA Saturn Press, new releases are highlighted, including titles like Search Pie Adventure, Doki Doki Nightmare, which sounds like a quirky adventure, Reflection Spark, Edo Renaissance, Fake Down, also known as Fake Down internationally, Polygon Basic for SEGA Saturn, which lets you program games, and Go 2i Professional Competitive Go board game. The Coming Soon Soft section teases upcoming games, mentioning J-League Create Pro Soccer Club 2 for sports fans, Slayers Royal 2, and Slayers Loiters for anime RPG action, Virus, known simply as Virus in English, Limited Burning Fest Limited, and Wiz or Wiz. The SEGA Saturn Soft Complete Guide section covers games already out, providing deep dives into titles like Willy Wombat, Truth, Samurai Spirits, Martial Arts, Glory Legend, and Angel Graffiti S. In the AM3 Rush corner, we see features on Top Skater for skateboarding fans and Virtual on Xover, likely related to the popular Mech Combat series. AM2 Express Weekly promises an exclusive look at Scud Race, showing off some illusionary images, which probably means early screenshots of this anticipated racer. Finally, there's a game index on the right for quick navigation, listing a bunch of games and their page numbers. It seems like this issue is packed with previews, reviews, and guides for a wide range of Sega Saturn games, covering everything from sports and RPGs to action and simulation titles. This page is all about the Super Network landing event for the game Athlete Kings, known in Japan as Decathlete. It seems to be a big online competition using the X-Band network and SegaNet. They are calling it the Bacha Coliseum, and it's the third event of its kind, following events for Virtua Fighter Remix and Cybertroopers Virtualon. The main event is scheduled to start on August 15th, and the grand prize for the winner is a gleaming golden Sega Saturn console and modem. They are really pushing the online aspect, calling this event Decathlete for SegaNet, and it's touted as a chance for athletes across the country to compete online. The page details the event schedule, which includes preliminary rounds from August 15th to 24th, and the main tournament on August 31st, with the finals on September 7th. The participants are X-Band members, competing from their own homes.
You need a Sega Saturn modem and Decathlete for SegaNet to enter. The preliminary rounds will select the top 64 players based on their win count to advance to the main tournament. Prizes are mentioned for the top spots, including special gold and silver Sega Saturn and modem sets, medals, and Decathlete original goods. There's also contact information for Sega Enterprises and details about how to inquire via phone or fax regarding the Bacha Coliseum office. It seems like a pretty exciting online tournament for Athlete Kings fans back in '97. This week's news includes several exciting events and product launches. A Virtua Fighter fair is underway in Tokyo, selling merchandise and showcasing CG character panels until August 5th. Yokohama will soon have a new entertainment complex, Club Sega Yokohama, featuring attractions like a snowmobile simulator. Game developer Yoshimura Osamu is developing an adventure game set in ancient Egypt, emphasizing historical accuracy and research. The Sentimental Graffiti series is launching its singers, known as Yutahime, as solo artists, with 12 debut seeds, highlighting Rurika Yamamoto, Yunanase, and Akira Endo. Finally, Konami is releasing a vast array of Tokimeki Memorial merchandise, including plushies, figures, apparel, and stationery. Prices range from 400 yen for notebooks to 3,900 yen for summer glasses. This page highlights several upcoming releases and events. Hiroji Kayama's new album, featuring his work on the PC Engine game Super Expensive Lord, is set for August 21st. Kanatsuki Mari is holding a summer concert tour in July to celebrate her third album. For fans of Godzilla, wall-mounted figures from various films are being offered as prizes. Additionally, there's coverage of the Swoony Bee sticker-making machine and Tokyo Joyopolis's first anniversary celebration, featuring acrobatic performances and a new attraction. Music releases include Kiyono Sayaka's album featuring theme songs from Tokimeki Memory Aldora, the Darius Gaiden soundtrack by Zuntata, Hello Jellybean's debut album, and Ami Ozaki's upcoming album, Concentration 20, promising to showcase her musical talents. This page showcases book reviews, focusing heavily on strategy guides for the game Quo Vadis 2. It highlights 3 different guides for Quo Vadis 2 from Media Factory, NTT Publishing, and SoftBank, each offering varying levels of detail and approaches to conquering the game. Media Factory's guide is described as focusing on making of aspects and developer interviews, while NTT Publishing's guide is praised for its beautiful presentation, systematic explanations, and thorough map coverage. SoftBank's Perfect Guide aims for perfection with its beautiful visuals and detailed strategy tips. Beyond Quo Vadis 2, the page also features strategy guides for other games. There's a guide for Eternal Melody Percussion Collection, described as a simulation game where you nurture and race horses, offering data and advice for horse racing enthusiasts. Another section reviews a guide for Zakanobi Empire of Evil, emphasizing its manga illustrations and practical, battle-tested strategies for players. A guide for Pharaoh's Revival 1999 is also featured, catering to PlayStation and SEGA Saturn players with detailed maps, item locations, and hints for navigating the game. Lastly, a guide for Sakura Wars Yurakucho Imperial Theater Communication Division is highlighted, focusing on the radio show aspect of Sakura Wars, and promising a visually appealing book filled with illustrations and retro items for fans of the series. This page is a sales chart showcasing the top 15 best-selling SEGA Saturn games of the week. Number 1 is Dusei 2, an adventure game ported from PC. Following closely is Tokimeki Memorial Drama Series, Nijiro no Seishun, another adventure title, and part of the popular Tokimeki Memorial series. In third place, we have Thunder Force Versus, the latest entry in the classic shooting game series. Other games making the top 15 include Samurai Spirits Bushido Retsuden, a strategy RPG, and Sonic Jam, a compilation of Sonic games. There's also Bulk Slash, a shooting game with a dramatic story, and Zero Sion Champ Doozy Type R, described as a love simulation RPG. Elfaria 2, an adventure game, is also listed, alongside Macross Do You Remember Love, a shooting game based on the anime. Bones, an action game with unique graphics, ranks in the top 10, and strategy games like Advanced War, Strong Style, and sports games like Professional Baseball Greatest 997 are also present. Rounding out the list are Saturn Bomberman and DX Jinsei Game, both part of the SEGA Saturn Collection Budget Series, and Album. The descriptions highlight the genres and appeal of each game, noting features like storylines, graphics, and series popularity. This page showcases two interesting lists. First up is the User Data Top 20, which is essentially a wish list of games that SEGA Saturn owners are hoping to see converted or ported to the system. Right at the top we have Neon Genesis Evangelion, Iron Maiden's Second, followed by the House of the Dead and the Final Fantasy series, showing a strong desire for RPGs and adventure titles to come to the Saturn. Other notable mentions include Ah, My Goddess, Duke Yusei, Densha de Go, and Street Fighter II-I. Below that, we have the Shop Data Top 15, which focuses on the most popular arcade video games. Virtua Fighter 3 is sitting comfortably in the top spot, showing its arcade dominance. Following closely are Vampire Savior and Tekken 3. It seems fighting games are still incredibly popular in arcades. Virtua Striker 2 and Cyber Troopers Virtualon also make appearances in the top rankings. There's a one-point check game section highlighting Scud Race, which is in 10th position, and they are even advertising a competition related to the game. They also feature Tekken 3 as number 3, praising its detailed graphics, especially Brian's character. Overall, the page gives a good snapshot of both the games Saturn owners are craving and the current arcade gaming scene. This page showcases the User Data Top 30, a popularity ranking of upcoming SEGA Saturn games. Grandia is sitting at number 1, followed by Sakura Wars 2 and Vampire Savior in the top 3 positions. It looks like role-playing games and fighting games are the genres that players are most excited about. The page highlights Azel Panzer Dragoon RPG in a Pickup Check Game section, mentioning that you can actually experience a sample of the game, and that its impressive quality is boosting anticipation, even suggesting you can try it out in stores. There's also a Coming Soon section for Neon Genesis, Evangelion, Digital Card Library, etc., which is described as a digital collection of content tied to the movie release and featuring mini-games and beautiful animations. Lastly, the Other Check, Coming Soon section shows Lost World, Jurassic Park, mentioning that it's an arcade port that has been further enhanced beyond the arcade version. This page from Weekly SEGA Saturn Magazine Volume 62 showcases the All Soft Readers Check Reader Survey, basically a popularity poll for SEGA Saturn games. It's titled Reader's Race. This issue, Volume 62, presents the results of the latest poll. The page explains how the ranking system works. Readers vote on games using a 10-point scale, and the results are published weekly. The current ranking is based on votes tallied as of July 18th. The main feature is the Odds Table Saturn A, which lists a whopping 168 games ranked by reader votes. At the top, Sakura Wars has climbed back to number 1, overtaking Even Burst Error, which is now at number 2.
Sonic Jam remains strong at number 3. Other notable games in the top 10 include Desire, Quiz Nanero Dreams, Sokyu Gurentai, Digital Pinball Necronomicon, Virtua Fighter 2, Policenauts, and Nights into Dreams. The text on the right analyzes these rankings, noting that summer's new releases are causing a stir, but older, established titles are holding their ground. It highlights Sakura Wars regaining the top spot from Eve, and mentions Sonic Jam and Quiz Nanero Dreams maintaining high positions. They are also looking forward to future releases impacting the rankings. There's a small image on the right showing artwork from Sakura Wars, emphasizing its return to the top spot and its continued popularity. It seems like the magazine is keen to keep readers engaged with these weekly popularity contests and analyses of game trends. This SEGA Saturn page continues a popularity poll, listing games ranked from 169 onwards with their scores. The main focus is on newly released games. Lunar Silver Star Story MPEG Edition receives a high score of 9.1111, praised for its complete version with improved anime. Dream Square, a puzzle game, scores 8.4666 and is recommended for fans of the character Akihoko. Pacific Storm 2, Gale of Steel, a strategy game, scores 8.7777, but is deemed difficult for beginners. Willy Wombat, an action game, receives a score of 7.8, with the reviewer enjoying the graphics and story. Finally, Blam! Machine Head, a shooting game, earns a 7.1 for its Doom-like feel and black humor. The page offers a snapshot of Saturn game popularity and new releases. The Saturn Readers Race Poll continues, highlighting new games and reader feedback. Takama-kan Burning Mirage, a puzzle game, scores 6.8888, praised for its mysterious atmosphere, but noted for its initial difficulty. Pinball Graffiti, a pinball game, receives a 6.1, lauded for its realistic perspective, though it has minor graphical flaws. Starfighter 3000, surprisingly scores a low 1.7, receiving negative feedback for its poor controls and dull gameplay. The poll also shows shifts in rankings, with Truth Serious Spirit dropping significantly. Anticipation builds for new releases, suggested by a New Software Rush Expected? Section and reader editor commentary on game development and future titles. This SEGA Saturn Readers Race Poll highlights game rankings, including Hyper Reverthion and Farland Story at the top, with Starfighter 3000 at the bottom. The page also reviews J-League Pro Soccer Club, Otsukuru, Let's Make a Pro Soccer Club, by SEGA. A review praises its accessibility for non-soccer fans and addictive gameplay, focusing on team management and player development over a 40-year span. It's described as a training simulation, emphasizing strategic depth and competition. Readers' comments highlight the game's appeal to those preferring team management over direct match control. The Check section recommends long-term playability, and the development team promises an even more engaging sequel. This page covers various SEGA Saturn topics. Readers share opinions on games, including a desire for specific character appearances in future titles. A reader-voted ranking of SEGA Saturn peripherals places the Virtua Stick Pro at the top. A review of Real Sound Kaze no Regret is teased. Game reviews follow. Dukusei 2 is criticized for its adventure game feel, despite strong graphics and story. Thunder Force V receives praise for its manic gameplay, strategic depth, and visual/audio quality. Bulk Slash is lauded for its smooth controls, anime-style presentation, and enjoyable shooter gameplay. Finally, contests are announced. Readers can guess the ranking of Real Sound Kaze no Regret and predict odds for QQ Sentai Go-Go V, with prizes including Saturn hardware and software. The entry deadline is July 31st. This page is dedicated to the Neon Genesis Evangelion digital card library for the SEGA Saturn. It's highlighted as a special report. The game is described as a database-like software where you collect digital cards of Evangelion characters. Selecting a character card triggers video highlights from the TV anime. A key feature mentioned is minigames, which, upon completion, unlock more card types and animations to view. The page shows screenshots of the game, interface with character cards of Rei Ayanami, Shinji Ikari, Misato Katsuragi, and Gendo Ikari. It emphasizes the various viewing functions enabled by video playback within the game. It mentions high-resolution image mode and that the video content includes unaired parts of episodes 21 to 26 from the Laserdisc versions, suggesting bonus content for fans. It's advertised as a way to experience the Evangelion anime in a new interactive format on the SEGA Saturn. The release date is mentioned as September 25th, and the price is 4,800 yen. It also says it's for one player and all ages. This page continues the feature on the Neon Genesis Evangelion digital card library game. It highlights the minigame aspect of the software, stating that by winning minigames, you can acquire new cards. Currently, they are testing 2 minigames. The page mentions that these minigames are based on scenes from the TV series, and clearing them increases the cards you can collect that unlock video content. 2 minigames are showcased. The first one is called Man's Battle, described as a memory game where you have to input directions corresponding to the flashes from Gendo Ikari's glasses. If you make mistakes, Gendo will apparently scold you. The second minigame is titled Figure of Man. This one involves Unit 01 chasing after the Jetalone robot, with Misato on top. The objective is to catch up to Ja while avoiding crashing Unit 01. If the field gauge becomes depleted, it's game over. This page continues the developer interview about the Neon Genesis Evangelion digital card library. The interviewer asks about the game's concept, and Ishizaka explains that they wanted to create non-game software based on Evangelion, aiming to make a database-like product that helps new fans understand the series and provides deeper content for existing fans. They discuss the card system, where players collect cards to unlock video content, making it user-friendly for searching and viewing scenes. Ishizaka mentions the user collects cards through minigames, and there will be around 200 cards in total, categorized for easy navigation. The cards contain roughly 15 seconds of video each. They also hint at special rare cards. Ishizaka confirms that all 26 episodes of the TV series are included and edited by professionals, offering a different viewing experience compared to just watching the episodes. He emphasizes the appeal of watching professionally edited Evangelion footage. He mentions that the sheer volume of video content might not fit on a single CD, and they are considering using the CD capacity to its limit to include as much as possible. The interview ends with Ishizaka hoping players will enjoy collecting cards and watching the video content. He emphasizes the value and quality they are aiming for, mentioning that the jacket and CD label will also be specially designed. This page continues the in-depth look at the real series scenario for Super Robot Wars F Final Chapter. It's highlighted as a continuation from a previous article, and it's aiming to be a dense page of information as the release date is only about a month away. This simulation RPG, recommended for all ages, is scheduled for release on August 29th at 6,800 yen and is single-player only. The page declares a special report and states the game is 85% complete. A key feature being showcased is the improved presentation of level UPS, particularly when learning new spirit commands. Previously, you'd have to check a list, but now, when a character levels up and learns a spirit command, it's clearly displayed on screen. The example shown is Amuro, who learns the concentration spirit command upon leveling up. Another highlighted aspect is the attention to detail in character facial expressions. In older games, character portraits were often static, leading to unnatural scenes when characters were supposed to be conveying different emotions. Now, for key characters, there are multiple facial expressions to reflect joy, anger, sorrow, and pleasure. Examples are given for Lilith and Judao, showcasing different emotional states through their updated portraits within dialogue boxes during gameplay. This is emphasized as enhancing the atmosphere and immersion. Scenario 03 of Super Robot Wars F Final Chapter, Shangri-La Children, sees Judao and his crew battling the Poseidal army to save the Shangri-La colony. A key gameplay improvement is the new repair command, simplifying unit healing. The scenario introduces new and familiar units. Players control Judao's Nemo and Bicha's Zaku modified. Opponents include the Bashu piloted by Che and Gabbled Gable, the Greya piloted by Hasha Moscow, and Hero Yui's Wing Gundam, which can join the player if its HP falls below 50%. The game provides unit stats like HP and terrain suitability. The review highlights the game's improved atmosphere and character portrayals, particularly noting the villainous nature of Hasha Moscow. The reviewer anticipates character development, with snippets of dialogue adding to the experience. Scenario 04 of Super Robot Wars F Final Chapter, Merciless Terrorist, sees the heroes journeying to Jaburo, facing hero Yui in his Wing Gundam, allied with DC forces. Character personalities shape the gameplay, influencing dialogue and interactions. For example, Wu Fei's coldness towards Quatre, the Wing Gundam, can be recruited if weakened, adding strategic depth.
The scenario highlights dramatic tension with dialogue snippets and unit stats. Development comments from Terada Kukuchi-san reveal the game is nearing completion, with a focus on quality improvements like faster loading, enhanced visuals, and impactful audio. He emphasizes a balanced gameplay experience, encouraging strategic play. Terada-san is confident in the content and anticipates a positive reception from players. This page is an announcement for a SEGA Saturn Creedrom featuring the popular artist Chisato Moritaka. The headline boldly states, "Chisato Moritaka has come to Saturn," and emphasizes that this Creedrom is bringing her best-selling PC CD-ROM content to the console, including her latest hit single Sweet Candy. It's packed with content, promising over 74 minutes of video footage, a real treat for fans. The disc is described as a multimedia experience, beyond just watching videos. It includes video clips of songs like Watasebashi, Hai Otoko, Kaze ni Fukarete, Rockin' Omelette, Futari wa Koibito, So Blue, La La Sunshine, Gin no Yume, Let's Go, and Sweet Candy. There are also interview segments, spot commercials, and making-of features. One interesting aspect highlighted is the interactive nature of some sections. For instance, La La Sunshine uses the Saturn's internal clock to change the visuals based on the time of day, offering a dynamic viewing experience. Another section, Let's Go, features a mini tic-tac-toe game where winning unlocks video clips. It sounds like this Creedrom aims to be an engaging and immersive experience for Chisato Moritaka fans, rather than just a collection of videos. The release date is set for September 11th, and it will cost 6,800 yen. This page is all about getting you ready for Last Bronx this summer. They're kicking off summer training with a Last Bronx classroom for beginners, a short, intensive course covering the basics. If you're new to fighting games or Last Bronx itself, they strongly recommend checking it out. They'll be going over fundamentals like high, medium, and low attacks, and explaining the difference between regular throws and command throws, all taught by a Last Bronx teacher. Even if you're already playing, they suggest it's a good time to go back to basics and brush up. Next up is character-specific basic lectures, which includes character command lists. The first session will focus on characters like Yusaku, Kudo, Nobuhiko Sakaki, and Yanagi Hojo. They will be covering character-specific commands, performance, and basic tactics. It's aimed at people who haven't decided who to play as yet. And this week, they will be highlighting the popular characters Joe and Nagi. The bottom of the page details the game Last Bronx. It's by SEGA, being released on August 1st. It's a versus fighting game, costing 6,800 yen for a 2 Candela set, and is suitable for all ages. They ask if you're ready to grab your weapons in the week leading up to the tournament. This guide to Last Bronx covers essential combat techniques for beginners. It explains stances, high attacks, head, blocked standing, medium attacks, chest, blocked crouching, and low attacks, feet, blocked low. Down attacks, pursuit attacks, are also detailed, allowing follow-up attacks on downed opponents. Rising attacks, activated while getting up, counter enemies, and include a medium and low option. Jump kicks offer aerial attacks with versatile angles. The guide then introduces special moves, using Yoko's simple tonfa technique as an example. It contrasts this with more complex moves used by other characters. Finally, normal and command throws are presented. Normal throws are escapable but less powerful, while command throws are stronger and unavoidable. The guide concludes by promising further instruction on AC, attack cancel, techniques in the next installment, using characters like Yusaku, Lisa, Joe, Yoko, Tommy, and Zaimoku, all with helpful gameplay screenshots. This page is dedicated to Yusaku from Last Bronx, giving you the lowdown on this fighter. We learn Yusaku is 19 years old, 171 centimeters tall, weighs 66 kilograms, and belongs to the Neo Soul group. His weapon of choice is the 3-section staff, which is highlighted. The page dives into Yusaku's fighting style, emphasizing his strong mid and low-level attacks and down attack techniques. It details 2 of his special moves, the shoulder tackle and the exhaust storm,
explaining their inputs and strategic uses. There's also a breakdown of a combo move called upper swing to combo road dropkick. A large portion of the page is dedicated to a move list table, showing various attacks and command inputs, categorized into basic attacks, throws, special moves, and continuous techniques. Finally, the page offers some Last Bronx trivia and strategy advice for winning matches, mentioning how the character select screen changes in appearance as you win more consecutive matches, with character portraits becoming larger, which is a cool little detail. The reviewer mentions that Yusaku might be a difficult character to master initially because of his reliance on big moves, but mastering him is rewarding. The next page showcases Nagi from the fighting game Last Bronx. We get a profile breakdown revealing she is 23 years old, stands at 167.5 centimeters, weighs 52 kilograms, and is part of the Dogma group. She is described as a leader of an all-female Amazonian group and possesses a sadistic and hysterical personality with a taste for Western culture. Her weapon is the sei, which is described as a defensive weapon that can also be used for stabbing and hooking. However, the page points out that Nagi is actually stronger with her legs and uses leg techniques more often than her sei attacks. The review emphasizes her diverse footwork and kicking variations. We then see a section dedicated to Nagi's special moves, including Crescent Shooting Star and Rising Kick, with descriptions of their inputs and strategic uses. There's also a large table detailing her move list categorized into basic attacks, throws, special moves, and combo techniques, outlining button inputs for each. Some of her moves include names like Sexy Nail, Queen's Leg Hug, and Goddess Shear. The page highlights some combo moves, such as mid-rush pieras to combo high-kick sadistic, and mentions Nagi's strength in aerial combos. Finally, the reviewer notes Nagi is a character who excels at launching opponents into the air for combos due to her unique moves. They suggest she is a great choice for players who enjoy strategic play and executing aerial combos.
Joe, a 23-year-old, 179 centimeters tall, and 76 kilograms fighter from the Shinjuku Mad Team, is a prominent rival character in Last Bronx. He's known for his cool attitude and fighting skills, which utilize the nunchaku as his primary weapon. His hidden weapon is humorously listed as corn. The page provides a detailed move list, categorized into basic, down, jump, and rising attacks, along with special techniques like cutting elbow, stealth thrower, and double hurricane shot. The moves emphasize his counter capabilities, leg sweeps, and interrupting opponents' movement. A combo move and a secret escape technique involving fence jumping are also detailed. The reviewer praises Joe's strength and complex combos, highlighting the skill required for mastery. This page is all about the upcoming SEGA Saturn game, The Lost World, Jurassic Park, based on the movie. It's highlighted as a special report and is scheduled for release in October for 5,800 yen. The game is described as a side-scrolling action game where humans and dinosaurs roam an island. The page emphasizes that after its arcade debut, the dinosaur action is now coming to the Saturn. It mentions Steven Spielberg's movie is a hot topic, and this game is based on it. Interestingly, it's not just humans you can play as, but also dinosaurs, letting you experience the world of The Lost World from various perspectives. The game setting is Site B, an island inhabited by dinosaurs. It seems there are different human groups involved: dinosaur observers, researchers, and hunters, who are capturing dinosaurs for their own purposes. But the real threat is the dinosaurs themselves, who are described as real and acting on instinct, making them a formidable force, even more dangerous than in Jurassic Park. This page delves deeper into the Lost World game, showcasing the playable characters you can control. It highlights 4 main protagonists. The Compsognathus, described as a tiny but vicious dinosaur who can inflict damage, emphasizing its speed and agility in water. Next is the human hunter, armed with weapons to subdue dinosaurs, capable of running, jumping, shooting, and using items, with various weapons like rifles and flamethrowers available. Then we have the Velociraptor, larger than the Compsognathus and about human-sized, portrayed as intelligent pack hunters, agile and able to jump and bite. Lastly, the mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex, a towering 6-meter-tall beast, depicted as the strongest carnivore, capable of running, jumping, and stomping, even able to crush jeeps, asking if survival is even possible when encountering one. The page concludes with an announcement for the theatrical release of the Lost World movie in Japan, starting July 12th,
mentioning its box office success in the US, and encouraging readers to experience the world of Lost World themselves, with a note about expecting long queues. This page is all about the SEGA Saturn release of Resident Evil. It seems to be a special report where talent Arisa Kobayashi is doing a playtest of the game. Yoshiki Okamoto from Capcom, a familiar face, is guiding her through this first-time experience with Resident Evil. The text playfully questions if she can overcome the zombies in Cerberus and solve the game's mysteries. There's even a cheeky suggestion about Okamoto's possible hidden agenda of wanting to get close to a cute girl under the pretense of work. The page title clearly highlights Saturn version bio, which is Resident Evil in English, making it clear what game is being featured. This page continues the Resident Evil feature, still following Arisa Kobayashi's playthrough. The headline playfully shouts, "What? It's Jill!" which is a fun nod to the game and the character Jill Valentine. It seems to be framed as a date to commemorate the release of Resident Evil, suggesting a fun and lighthearted approach to showcasing the survival horror game. The page also mentions that Capcom's Resident Evil is on sale for 4,800 yen and comes with a first-time purchase bonus. Down below, you can see Yoshikaki Okamoto from Capcom again, who is introduced as Managing Director and General Manager of Development Headquarters. There's a little profile about him mentioning he's a well-known Capcom face, travels the world, and his hobbies include toys and watches. Next to him is another picture of Arisa Kobayashi, with a profile stating she was a 97 summer campaign girl, active in TV, radio, and magazines. It mentions she majors in Japanese painting at university and enjoys swordsmanship, karate, and is quite the lively and modern girl who loves jokes and sweets. This page continues the horror experience, with Arisa Kobayashi playing Resident Evil on the SEGA Saturn, as headlined, Arisa, Saturn Horror Experience. It highlights her reactions and gameplay moments. We see her engrossed in the game, controller in hand, with close-up shots of her playing. The page dives into gameplay tips, particularly around movement controls, explaining how the directional buttons work and advising players to get used to the character's orientation for smooth movement. It also touches upon item interactions, pointing out the game's message when you can't pick up an item. There's advice to thoroughly investigate suspicious locations and to adjust your position when searching for items in wide areas. We get a glimpse of the classic Resident Evil tension, mentioning moments where zombies appear and the player's reaction to these jump scares. The text describes a scene where Arisa successfully fends off zombies with button mashing, highlighting the game's frantic combat. Okamoto from Capcom is again mentioned, seemingly offering guidance during her play session. The article captures the excitement and horror as Arisa navigates the mansion, encounters zombies, and figures out how to survive in Resident Evil. Aguri, a Resident Evil player, is progressing with helpful advice. The article highlights gameplay tips like reloading weapons and monitoring ammo and health. Aguri's heart rate monitor indicates damage, requiring recovery items when read. She loves the game's choices and opening movie, feeling immersed. She enjoys puzzle and RPG games, and studies Japanese painting. Mr. Okamoto observes Aguri's reactions. As a special gift to readers, Aguri is creating drawings, signed photos, and designing a character called Guriusa. The announcement includes a picture of her playing and another photo of her in a swimsuit for her fans. This Resident Evil guide provides maps for the mansion, floors 1 and 2, basement, and dormitory, floor 1, aiding players in item discovery. Item data is categorized by location number on each map. Mansion items include weapons, keys, crests, and essential items like the triangle crank. The dormitory features keys, a book, and other items crucial for progress. The guide advises starting in the mansion hall and emphasizes saving frequently. Players need 4 crests and various keys, different types depending on character, to progress. Weed killer is also required. The guide stresses thorough inventory examination and using the map to find item locations. Save points, ink ribbons, and item boxes are marked on the map for clarity. This Resident Evil guide section covers the courtyard, underground, and research facility areas. Detailed maps pinpoint item locations using numbered markers for items like herbs, weapons, and key items such as the courtyard map, crank handle, and power room key. The courtyard, though a long path, offers fresh air and healing herbs, encouraging herb combination. The guide suggests defeating Cerberus enemies here. The underground areas introduce greater danger, including traps and fast hunters, with a nearby typewriter for saving progress. The research facility, underground level 4, is the final area, a cutting-edge science lab secretly housing a biological weapon. Gameplay shifts towards action, especially for Chris, requiring ammo conservation and avoiding slow zombies. The guide builds anticipation for the escape from the terrifying facility. This page is all about Culdicept, a board game with trading card game elements, and this article is the third follow-up report about it, so it's a special preview. It's being developed by Omiya Soft and is slated for release in October 1997, priced at 5,800 yen. The article dives into the game's world and story, set in a universe created by the goddess Kaldora. It introduces the world of Ryu and the concept of scepters, individuals with special powers who use Culdicept cards. One of the three supreme gods, Baltias, tried to use Culdicept for his own ambition, but failed, and was banished. Gameplay revolves around creatures being influenced by four pillar gods, each representing an element. Abgaitus, creation and order. Baltias, control and neutrality. Gaidius, destruction and chaos. And Kaldora as the main god. Underneath them are sub-gods for earth, Selenia, water, Isia, fire, Bistea, and wind, Telea. The screenshots show in-game scenes, creature cards, and interface elements. It highlights that all creatures are influenced by these four pillar gods and their elements. There's also a section explaining what a scepter is. A card master who can control the Culdicept cards found on the ground, making them card-wielding sorcerers. It mentions two-player mode, player versus computer, and character selection at the bottom. Culdicept gameplay is influenced by terrain and creature attributes. Map squares have attributes: earth, plants, water, flowing water, fire, life, wind, flying creatures, and neutral, no effect, each with a corresponding symbol and color. Placing a creature on terrain matching its attribute boosts its HP, dependent on the terrain's level. Linked adjacent territories provide support effects, increasing a creature's street by 10 for each connected territory owned. Creatures also have races: beast, divine, dragon, human, and plant. Each race has unique traits impacting battles. Beast types are animals. Divine are holy beings. Dragons breathe fire. Humans utilize support items. And plants use support items. Identifying a creature's race, though visually subtle, is crucial, and indicated by a symbol on the creature card. Omiya Soft's president, Suzuki, and game designer Jinguji discuss Culdicept's development. Suzuki highlights the game's beautiful art, especially the oil-painted card illustrations, and their focus on a tactile card game experience. He emphasizes strategic depth, beyond simple dice rolls and card strength. Multiplayer supports up to 4 players. Jinguji explains that spells are central, allowing strategic plays even after dice rolls. He anticipates stronger CPU opponents in the final version, and mentions impactful, visually noticeable spells. The game will feature story and versus modes, with potential rule customization options similar to Mahjong. Suzuki encourages players to explore strategies, while Jinguji emphasizes card collecting as a key enjoyment factor for players. They are confident in the game's ultimate appeal. This page screams Panzer Dragoon Saga, known as a Seasol in Japan. It's a big feature. They've received a sample room at the magazine and are excited to give readers the first complete look at the game. The text emphasizes the amazing visuals starting to move, and they are diving deep into the core systems of Azel, focusing on the lock-on communication system and the flashy, diverse battles. The page highlights that it's a SEGA Saturn title, an RPG, planned for release in autumn. Price is still undecided, it's multi-controller compatible, and for 1 player. There's a special report section indicating the game's completion rate is still unknown at this stage. You can also see screenshots from the game showcasing the combat, with numbers and what looks like a targeting reticule, giving a glimpse of the gameplay. It's a hype piece announcing a major feature for this highly anticipated RPG. Panzer Dragoon Saga features dynamic camera work that adapts to the dragon's altitude, offering wide views at high altitudes for area surveying and closer perspectives at low altitudes for detail and speed. A radar leader in the top right displays field objects, with dot colors indicating potential enemy encounter frequency. The gameplay emphasizes exploration, battles, and event triggers to unveil the game's mysteries, aiming for a unique experience beyond a typical RPG or shooter. The game promises a different core experience despite potential visual similarities to prior titles, with screenshots showcasing diverse camera angles, the radar interface, and combat examples.
This page delves deeper into the dragon types in Panzer Dragoon Saga, clarifying that while initially perceived as only 5, the reality is much more expansive. It addresses a potential misconception about Azel and the Dragon 5 types, stating that the 5 types are just the base forms standard, attack, defense, mind, and agility, which act as starting points. However, the game's morphing system allows for practically limitless dragon evolution and customization, meaning there isn't a fixed number of dragon types. This is highlighted in a checkbox titled, Dragon Morphing is Infinite. Another check section, Type Select is possible even in battle, explains that you can switch dragon types mid-combat. This tactical element is emphasized, allowing players to adapt to enemy weaknesses and combat situations. The page showcases screenshots of the battle screen, the field map, and the LCS, lock-on communication system, in action, demonstrating how you engage with enemies and navigate the world. It reiterates that Panzer Dragoon Saga blends RPG elements with shooting mechanics, offering a unique experience within the series. This page takes a closer look at the battles in Panzer Dragoon Saga, focusing on enemy strategies and how to fight effectively. It highlights that for normal attacks, you can choose between laser and Vulcan weapons. The reviewer mentions their first experience with Azel battles, and notes the differences from previous games, pointing out updated parameters and hinting at more features to come, including a powerful berserk attack that's still under wraps. The page emphasizes strategic positioning in battles, explaining that good positioning is key to victory. It uses radar screenshots to illustrate this, showing green areas as advantageous for the player and red areas as dangerous enemy zones. It's also important to pay attention to the 3-stage power gauge. This gauge impacts your attack power and likely plays a role in unleashing berserk attacks, with different levels shown in screenshots. Finally, the page stresses observing enemy attack patterns and timings to understand their behavior and develop effective counter-strategies. It notes that enemies can appear suddenly, requiring quick thinking and reactions during combat. Essentially, this page is giving players a tactical breakdown of combat mechanics in Panzer Dragoon Saga, advising players to use positioning, manage their power gauge, and learn enemy behaviors to succeed. This page elaborates on the diverse enemy attack strategies in Panzer Dragoon Saga. It introduces 4 distinct enemy types found in the sample room, each requiring different approaches. First, there's the Tsunabasiri, a desert runner enemy, best dealt with in groups. Then, the Iwadamashi, a colossal foe whose weak point is its head. Players need to be mindful of their surroundings when facing it. Next, Unka are flying enemies that appear in swarms, and they take time to defeat. Lastly, Okafugu often appears with Unka, and defeating Okafugu's weak spot eliminates the accompanying Unka. The page details weapon choices, noting that Edge's primary attack, the homing laser, is effective against multiple enemies, while the Vulcan is better for single targets. It also teases potential weapon upgrades, and the powerful berserk attack, which remains somewhat mysterious, described as a magic-like ability selectable from a menu that unleashes devastating attacks. Strategic positioning is further emphasized, explaining that safe zones vary depending on the enemy. The radar is crucial for identifying these zones, with green areas indicating safety and red indicating danger. Players are advised to react quickly to enemy movements, using the radar to navigate to green zones and evade red attack zones using directional inputs. The example of Iwadamashi shows how danger zones can shift depending on the enemy's heads, demanding adaptable positioning to target weaknesses effectively, and highlighting that staying in green zones minimizes enemy attacks and is vital for victory. The 5 maximum points of LCS explains the importance of the lock-on communication system, LCS, in Azel, Panzer Dragoon Saga. The LCS is essential for interacting with the environment and gathering information, making it crucial for RPG progression. There are 4 types of LCS icons. Enter, for entering locations. Break, for destroying objects. Access, for communication. And Caution, for unknown objects triggering events. The LCS also controls item acquisition, by allowing the player to destroy item boxes using the caret or a button. Players enter LCS mode, using a lock-on cursor and a laser beam to interact with objects. Destroying objects, like ruins, can trigger events, such as sandstorms, the appearance of a dragon, and access to a cave via the enter function. The LCS emphasizes exploration and environmental interaction, which is fundamental to the game. This developer interview with Azel, Panzer Dragoon Saga,
Creators Gaku Kakiwaki and Hidetoshi Takashita reveals the game's progress. The team, with the game approximately 60 to 70% complete, showcased a nearly finished demo. The core lock-on communication system, LCS, for environmental interaction is implemented. Combat and camera controls are being refined, with significant evolution expected from the demo. Kakiwaki aims for a complete RPG experience, while Takashita focuses on creating a unique, high-quality world, incorporating player feedback. The developers are also planning to reveal voice actors and promote the game. A retail demo event is planned at SEGA Saturn stores to gather further player feedback, which may be incorporated into the final product. This article previews the SEGA Saturn version of Suikoden, showcasing its initial screenshots and setting the stage for the game's narrative. The story centers on a young protagonist who witnesses the corruption within the Empire and eventually joins the Liberation Army to combat it. The game blends heroic fantasy elements, including swordplay and magic, within a world of Oriental righteousness and benevolence. The article highlights the game's expansive gameplay, featuring a war system with varying army sizes, recruiting 108 companions, individual character episodes, and classic RPG elements. The reviewer anticipates improved graphics and magic effects in the Saturn version, along with Saturn-exclusive content. The protagonist, son of a high-ranking general, is poised to lead the rebellion and inherit the Soul Eater badge. Konami's Suikoden for Sega Saturn is a classic RPG centered around gathering information and turn-based combat. Players build a team of up to 6 characters, strategically utilizing compatibility and magic for powerful attacks. The game features a vast cast of 108 recruitable companions, each with unique skills and backgrounds. Securing these allies often requires specific actions. The narrative includes Narrated, the protagonist's childhood friend, whose past and secrets add intrigue to the storyline. Suikoden also features gambling minigames, which can be vital for character recruitment. This grand adventure promises a user-friendly system and engaging gameplay, drawing inspiration from the Chinese novel Water Margin. This interview with the Sega Saturn Suikoden development team, conducted in Sapporo, centers on the game's compelling story, character relationships, and expansive world. The team emphasizes the vast number of characters, including the iconic 108, each with unique personalities. The Saturn version is a complete port enhanced with new features like minigames and the Colosseum. Adjustments are being made to the card game for improved playability. The development team, from the relatively new KCE Sapporo studio, aims to deliver a polished experience, focusing on enhanced graphics and sound. The team is enthusiastic about the project and encourages players to delve into the game's depth, hinting at hidden secrets. They are working diligently, and the project is progressing well, though they're keeping some aspects under wraps. This page is a special report focusing on the upcoming Sega Saturn game, Mobile Suit Z Gundam. Developed by Bandai as a shooting game, it's slated for release in late September at 6,800 yen, supporting single-player mode and rated for all ages. The article emphasizes that this game aims to surpass previous Gundam titles in quality. It sounds like they are particularly excited about showcasing the main Mobile Suit's transformation and its powers in stages 1 and 2. They are calling out the Z Gundam's ability to transform from Mobile Suit form to Wave Rider form, highlighting the advantages and disadvantages of each mode, mentioning powerful weapons like the Beam Saber, Hyper Mega Launcher, and Beam Rifle. Screenshots show gameplay with enhanced new C-type attacks and the always-ready Hyper Mega Launcher, suggesting a focus on powerful and dynamic combat. This page continues the digest of Mobile Suit Z Gundam, diving into Stage 1 and Stage 2. Stage 1 is called Colony Drop Day, focusing on the urgent mission to stop a colony drop on Granada. The story explains how Camille and the Argama crew, equipped with the newly completed Z Gundam, are engaged in battles with the Titans near the moon. They uncover a plot by the Titans, orchestrated by Sara under Sirako's command, to drop a colony on Granada. Players will deploy mobile suits to intercept and attempt to alter the colony's course. The page also highlights a new game mechanic for the Z Gundam called Back Attack, activated with the SOAR button, improving responsiveness compared to the previous game. Stage 2 is titled Jared's Special Attack, where Camille and his allies aim to rescue the Argama, which is ambushed by Jared and hidden in a deserted area while returning from Side 4 to the moon. Players will face relentless attacks from enemy AM's forces and navigate asteroid fields, with the stage promising a high level of difficulty not seen in previous parts. The text mentions the appearance of new enemy units and challenging stage design. This page continues the focus on Mobile Suit Z Gundam and highlights key improvements in the game. Point 1 discusses strategic boss battles, noting that enemy bosses are now more tactical, requiring players to understand their attack patterns and effectively use different mobile suit forms to succeed. It specifically mentions the Alexandria support fire in Stage 1 boss battles, emphasizing the need for careful dodging. A new feature for the Z Gundam is detailed under New System for Z, called Dash Performance Minor Change. This enhances the dash with visual effects, enables dashing in any direction without fixing direction, and makes it easier to perform with just 2 directional key presses. The saber attack can now be executed with 3 consecutive inputs. The page also features an image of Yazan Gable, with dialogue, suggesting he might be attacking allies, adding a dramatic element. Point 2 emphasizes enhanced visual presentation, particularly in event movie scenes. The story arc from episodes 22 to 50 is condensed into 10 stages. The visuals are described as richer, aiming to convey the nuances and complexities of the Z Gundam story. Cutscenes are said to be significantly improved and more impactful. There's a highlighted scene where Mauer defends Jared, with the memorable line, "I will protect you, you said so, didn't you?" Overall, the page emphasizes both strategic depth in gameplay and improved visual storytelling in this new installment of Mobile Suit Z Gundam. This page introduces Ronde, a new simulation RPG from Atlas, which is described as the latest entry in the popular Megami Tensei series. The article emphasizes 3 key elements that define the Megami Tensei experience in this new title. Firstly, Demon Remix refers to the demon negotiation and fusion system, a staple of the series, where players can recruit demons and combine them to create new and powerful allies. Secondly, the setting is described as near future, moving away from typical fantasy RPG worlds and grounding the game in modern Japan, making it more relatable to players. Finally, simulation is highlighted, suggesting a deeper strategic element where individual demon abilities and party composition are crucial for success, aligning with the strategic depth the Megami Tensei series is known for. The page features screenshots that showcase the gameplay, including turn-based battle scenarios and status screens, illustrating these key features. The game is anticipated for release in mid-September by Atlas, priced at 6,800 yen, and is a single-player simulation RPG suitable for all ages. It seems like the reviewer is excited about how Ronde is deepening the Megami Tensei world by focusing on these core elements. This page introduces the main characters of a new role-playing game, starting with Sao Reika, a 17-year-old Chinese-Japanese girl who is described as a mood maker but hides deep emotions and intelligence. She uses tarot cards as her summoner item and is connected to Earth, Mother, Goddess, and Oni deities. Next is Charlie Monteagle, a 45-year-old Englishman and member of the Royal Academy of England. He researches ancient texts and deals with various demon types, using the Dulraid Cross as his summoner item. He's presented as a kind older gentleman. Then there is Maria Theresa Warwick, a female Yetius Marine Corps soldier, portrayed as a strong and capable woman. Her summoner item is a winged ornament. Sawaki Hideo, a 24-year-old Tet University lecturer. Details are scarce, but he seems like a sharp character with a refined appearance, and he is mentioned in connection with someone named Thompson. Lastly, Willie Montezma, a 32-year-old U.S. Army soldier with Native American heritage. He is depicted as a powerful and reliable figure, with a soldier-like fighting style, also using a winged ornament as his summoner item. The page uses character portraits, descriptions, and in-game screenshots to introduce these characters. It seems like a party-based RPG, where players utilize summoner items to fight demons and deities, possibly continuing the themes discussed on the previous page regarding demon negotiation and strategic battles. The next page is all about the evolution of battles into full 3D fields in this new Megami Tensei title, which seems to be Devil Summoner, Soul Hackers. They're really emphasizing how the 3D fields change up the battles, with height differences being a key strategic element. Unit models are now polygons, and combat animations are looking much better. A cool feature they're showing is events happening during battles, like dialogue scenes we see Charlie from the previous page in one example. They stress understanding how height affects combat. Visually, They're also showing off the improved magic animations, like Pixie and Willy unleashing some impressive-looking spells. This page introduces the Remix Station, which seems to be a central hub in this Megami Tensei game, likely Devil Summoner. Soul Hackers. It explains the remix function as a core element where you combine demons, presented with a somewhat bizarre visual style. Besides remixing, there are new features being showcased. Inject is described as a way to seal demons into items, creating powerful weapons and armor. It mentions limitations on usage, where the item's power might degrade and the sealed demon is lost. Unitization is about turning demons into units. This allows you to customize their stats, like movement and attack power. Units created through unitization also get names. Lastly, cloning is still a bit of a mystery, but the article suggests it allows you to create copies of demons, potentially changing the rules about only having one of each demon type. They hint at wanting to show more of these features in action, particularly the cloning process. The page questions if Sunday will be the next evolution after Saturday, suggesting a day-based progression system within the game. This page focuses on Princess Crown, describing it as a grand illusion story with big, charming characters. It's highlighted as an action RPG with fighting game elements, emphasizing smooth character animation and diverse actions from simple controls. The game allows you to play as multiple characters, each with their own unique storyline, promising substantial content. The reviewer points out that both action and story are well developed. The story begins with a girl and her grandmother in a house full of books. Each book contains a different character's story, making the scenario selection screen itself a unique part of the game. The screenshots showcase in-game action, demonstrating the combat and user interface. The special report box mentions it's from Atlas, with a price of 5,800 yen and recommended for all ages, but the release date is still to be determined. It also notes this is a collaboration between SEGA and Atlas, focusing on the sub-characters and action scenes in this preview. The page seems excited about the game's blend of action and storytelling. This page continues to delve into the world of Princess Crown, focusing on a specific scenario called Dragon Subjugation. It starts by setting the scene in Dragon Gora town, where people are troubled by a dragon. Gradriel, the main character, hears these tales and decides to take on the dragon. The next section describes the confrontation with the dragon at Dragon's Heaven. However, the dragon is far stronger than Gradriel anticipated. Overwhelmed by its power, she's terrified and unable to fight back effectively, ultimately being chased away. It seems like all hope is lost for her at this point. But then, the unexpected happens. The Knight Edward makes his dramatic entrance. Edward's arrival turns the tide, rescuing Gradriel from her predicament. Defeated, and realizing her own limitations, Gradriel returns to town. This encounter marks the first meeting between Gradriel and Edward. Lex. The page also highlights that Princess Crown features numerous free scenarios, in addition to the main story. These free scenarios offer opportunities to obtain items, and each playable character progresses through their own unique storyline and routes. The overall setting is the world of Round Earth, and the characters' paths and encounters will vary depending on their chosen routes. The screenshots show scenes from the scenario including the townspeople, Gradriel facing the dragon, her meeting with Edward, and a map of Valendia land showcasing the different routes available. This page highlights the sub-characters in Princess Crown, focusing on how to utilize them after clearing Gradriel's initial story. Unlocking these characters allows for deeper story exploration through different perspectives. Edward, a 16-year-old dragon slayer, is introduced as a powerful sub-character, potentially stronger than Gradriel. He wields a large sword and is accompanied by his dragon, Ignis. The page details Edward's diverse attacks, including the get-up attack for recovering, a dynamic special attack, a spinning dash attack, and basic jump attacks. His option attack utilizes Ignis. The review stresses that each playable character offers unique and enjoyable gameplay with their own special moves. This page continues the spotlight on Princess Crown sub-characters, this time introducing Proserpina, a spirited 10-year-old witch, and Portgas, a noble swordsman with a mysterious past. Proserpina is described as an energetic and competitive young magic user who, despite her age, is a formidable opponent. She's said to use Gradriel-style magic, and her constant companion is a goblin familiar named Gabriel, who she uses as a familiar demon. The page showcases her various magical attacks, including an option attack, jump attack, dash attack, and a special attack, all emphasizing her magical prowess rather than physical strength, which is hinted to be low due to her young age. Moving on to Portgas, he's introduced as a distinguished swordsman, burdened by a dark past, and known as the righteous thief of the sea. Despite having lost a leg, his movements are described as surprisingly light and agile, and his fighting style resembles fencing. The page details his jump attack, dash attack, special attack, and option attack, highlighting his sword skills and the parrot companion he uses in combat. The reviewer notes that each character has their own unique gameplay style and special moves, adding depth and replayability to Princess Crown. This page emphasizes the importance of gathering information in towns within RPGs, using Princess Crown as the primary example. It points out that crucial scenario information and combat hints can be obtained by talking to townspeople. The game depicts town residents in a large and expressive manner, highlighting their significance. The page then delves into sub-characters, specifically mentioning how you can learn about them through conversations. For instance, it's revealed that Edward is a famous warrior. Next, it introduces a special location called the Goblin Market, a secret market run by goblins. It's described as a place where humans don't normally go, but finding it is rewarding, as you can trade for rare and unique items not found in regular shops. The page suggests it's worth the effort to locate this hidden market. Finally, the page shifts focus to monster actions, showcasing three types: Orc, Jelly, Dodo, and Siren. Orc Jelly is described as a slime-like monster that can liquefy to evade player attacks. The Dodo is presented as a humorous, bird-type monster that calls for backup and can cause painful pecking attacks. Its eggs are also said to be usable as food. Lastly, the Siren is depicted as a beautiful mermaid-like monster that lures you in, but is stated not to be a particularly strong enemy. This page dives into the cooking system in Princess Crown, showcasing how you can use tools, seasonings, and ingredients to create dishes. The formula is simple: tools plus seasonings plus ingredients equals cooking. They really emphasize that there's a huge variety of ingredients and food items you can find in the game. You'll see examples of cooking with a pot and a frying pan. For instance, if you use a frying pan and some namaniku, or raw meat, you can make delicious grilled meat. Similarly, using a pot with sakana, or fish, will net you a hearty fish soup. The bottom half of the page shifts to monsters. It highlights several enemy types: goblin, myconid, frogger, tarantula, and ghoul. Each monster gets a little section with a screenshot and a short description. For example, the goblin is mentioned as appearing in forests and caves, the myconid is a mushroom type, the frogger is a big frog, the tarantula is described as a spider-like monster with tricky movements, and the ghoul is presented as a transformed monster with a strange attack pattern. It's a quick look at some of the enemies you'll encounter in the game. This interview explores the battle system of Grandia, focusing on its initiative point system. The developers, including game designer Okada-san, aimed for dynamic and engaging battles with enough time for player decisions. Battle effect programmer Ishikawa-san highlights the unique rhythm created by the IP system, allowing for strategic attack ordering. Main game planner Yasui-san emphasizes character individuality, where each character's personality influences their fighting style, providing distinct strengths and weaknesses. The goal is to make character selection crucial to gameplay. Screenshots showcase the battle interface and character art. The game, a single-player RPG by Game Arts, is slated for a '97 release, with the price yet to be determined. The interview offers insight into the strategic and character-focused design of Grandia's combat. This page delves deeper into the gameplay mechanics of Grandia. Check 1 is all about the IP point system, the core of Grandia's battle system. It highlights that battles are designed to feel dynamic and real-time. The system uses markers to show character actions and orders, allowing players to understand what's happening and plan their strategies in a live battle scenario. Check 2 focuses on the 3D maps and traps. The demo version only had basic traps like falling trees and opening floors. The full game promises many more handmade polygon traps, emphasizing the effort put into making them interesting and engaging. Check 3 talks about AI battles. While the demo had 3 AI types, The final game will feature 7 AI types. These AI settings control character actions like using items or inflicting poison, all described with 4 character idioms for a unique Japanese touch. Players can enjoy hands-off battles by relying on AI or take direct control. It's up to the player's preference. The page also introduces 2 characters. Fiona, described as a girl who is physically weak but possesses quickness and excels in magic, and Sue, an 8-year-old support character whose cheering ability is invaluable, making her essential in a support role. Screenshots illustrate the IP point system in action, showcasing the battle interface and character positioning during combat. Another screenshot shows a 3D map environment. The overall tone emphasizes the depth and strategic elements of Grandia's battle system, and the variety within the game. This page is a Grandia advert announcing the free distribution of the Grandia Prelude demo from July 27th. It's presented as a revolutionary RPG event. The page highlights it as the biggest RPG topic of the year, and emphasizes that you can experience this cutting-edge RPG for free before its release. It urges readers to get the demo before their friends do. The page features screenshots showing in-game environments and battles. There's also artwork of the main characters. A large part of the page is dedicated to a list of retail stores where you can obtain the Grandia Prelude demo. This includes various game shops and electronics retailers. Essentially, it's a promotional page hyping up the Grandia demo and telling people where they can get their hands on it. This page is an advert for Silhouette Mirage, a game from Treasure, and published by Especially, or Entertainment Software Publishing. The page is promoting Especially as a new company focused on creators and bringing exciting new games to players. They mention that Especially is run by creators who understand the hardships and want to deliver games that move players. They are looking for talented people and state their mark represents their passion for games made by creators for game lovers. The advert itself for Silhouette Mirage is eye-catching, saying, "Blue 2, Red 2," likely referring to the game's unique mechanics. It has the game logo prominently displayed, and some cool character art. The background is filled with repeating character art in blue and red themes, hinting at the game's color switching element. The release date is set for September 11th, with a price of 5,800 yen. Down at the bottom, there's a section mentioning the Tokyo Game Show 97 Autumn event, highlighting that it will be held at the Makuhari Messe Center from September 6th to 7th. It lists various organizations involved in the event, like the Computer Entertainment Software Association, or SESA. This article focuses on Real Sound, Wins Regret, a sound-based drama for SEGA Saturn, published by Warp. The director, Aimino, is interviewed, answering questions about recommended locations in the game's setting, Akumi Town. The game, a 4-disc set costing 6,400 yen, offers a unique romance experience solely through sound, with 5 possible endings. Igino discusses the game's sound quality, emphasizing fidelity over volume, and recommending headphones for the optimal experience. He addresses mixed reviews, particularly a low score from Gaia, and expresses disappointment. He urges reviewers to experience the full game, and discourages rushed reviews based on incomplete playthroughs. He highlights key scenes, including a cardboard box slide, and the happy ending featuring Akiko Yano's song, Hitotsudake. This guide explores key locations in Akumi Town from Real Sound, Wins Regret. The journey begins with Rent-A-Car, leading to Under the Overpass, a potentially violent scene. Next, Swan Song offers insight into Izumi's past, and features the song Roppongi no Lullaby. A recommended scene, Life is Unknown, unfolds in the car, depicting a high school couple. Returning from the sea, the taxi allows you to meet Miyagasa-kun. The temple offers a bonding experience with childhood friend Mami, while ropeway and Ferris wheel at Mount Okogo further develop relationships. The Ferris wheel, run by Mika Kan, may present a significant Izumi scene. The page also discusses the game's music, Aino's personal preference, and encourages multiple playthroughs, seeking feedback even from those who typically dislike romance dramas. This page introduces Tactics Formula, a new kind of board game for SEGA Saturn based on F1 racing that removes luck elements like dice and cards, focusing purely on strategy and reflexes. The game allows 1 to 4 players using a multi-terminal adapter for up to 6 players. It details the game's core elements, starting with team selection from 11 available teams, each with a pit work level from A to E, affecting pit stop times, A being the fastest and E the slowest. After choosing a team, players select a driver, each rated from S to E. Crucially, the game emphasizes car setup, where players distribute setting points across parameters like max speed, accel, brake, and suspension to tune their car's performance. Tire selection is also important, with options like Slick B, Slick D, Slick C, and Rain C, each with different grip and durability characteristics. Fuel amount can also be set between 30 to 120 liters, affecting speed and range before needing a pit stop. The page highlights that pit stop times are influenced by the selected team's pit work level, adding a layer of strategic depth to team choice. The page promotes the game as allowing for free car setting adjustments to match course conditions and driving style. The Tactics Formula Guide explains how to master the game by efficiently moving your machine. Movement is calculated by speed. Each square moved requires 30 kilometers per hour. Acceleration is possible up to your maximum speed. Special moves like slipstreaming increases speed and range. Overtaking boosts acceleration but is fuel-intensive. And fuel-efficient movement boosts speed when fuel is low and increases range, can turn the tide of a race. Course map colors indicate safe, blue, caution, yellow, and absolute movement ranges, red, where movement is mandatory. The game features two modes, World GP for single-player racing across 16 rounds, and Multiplay for multiplayer races, with customizable settings like race type, bonus points, qualifying, laps, crash settings, and courses. World GP aims to crown an overall champion, while Multiplay supports up to 4 players. The next page introduces Soldnerchild, a deep fantasy simulation RPG developed through a collaboration between SEGA and Koei. The article questions who will unify the war-torn continent in this grand strategy title. The game is described as a fantasy simulation SLG, set in a war-ravaged land. You play as a mercenary leader, caught in the midst of conflict. The article highlights that Soldnerchild emphasizes diverse missions, stating there are over 30 types and more than 20 mercenary groups in total. To succeed, you'll need to develop your soldiers' skills. Missions are categorized into 6 difficulty levels. Cities in Soldnerchild offer various facilities crucial to gameplay, such as churches, training grounds, guilds, taverns, and shops. These are essential for progressing in the game, providing different functions like equipment and services. The article details 7 distinct soldier types in Soldnerchild. Infantry, strong against spears but weak against cavalry. Spearmen, powerful against cavalry but weak against infantry. Cavalry, strong against infantry but vulnerable to spears. Sailor, effective at sea but weaker on land. Archer, excelling at range but poor in melee. Sacred soldier, summoned using holy magic, with many having white magic skills. And dark soldier, also summoned with magic, highly resistant to dark magic. These diverse soldier types add tactical depth to battles. This page continues discussing Soldnerchild, focusing on the gameplay aspects of leading a mercenary group as a Simon. Initially, Aiken's mercenary group isn't highly regarded, and the missions available are low-paying. To improve, you need to undertake missions and develop your soldiers' skills, particularly Aiken's magic and swordsmanship, as these skills can be learned as you level up. You can also recruit new officers in taverns to bolster your forces. A key decision is choosing which lord to serve. While the initial goal is to unify the continent and bring peace, and serving a powerful nation might seem like the quickest route, the article suggests carefully considering your choice, as it can affect the game's challenge and enjoyment. Battles are described as being composed of both individual duels between commanders and larger-scale unit battles. Individual commander battles are influenced by stats and special moves, whereas unit battles are more tactical, emphasizing unit types, formations, and the use of magic. Healing magic is highlighted as particularly valuable in unit battles. Timing your actions in battle is also crucial. The game features an active world system, where the game world evolves independently of the player. Each month, countries take actions and engage in warfare, and the outcomes are somewhat randomized. This means the political landscape of the game world can shift and change dynamically, even without direct player intervention, making each playthrough unique as different events unfold. This page is showcasing the game Desire, a multi-site adventure game. It was released in September '97 and is for 1 player, recommended for ages 18 and up. The article introduces the first day of the Albert chapter. The story follows Albert McDougall, a journalist investigating the secret facility Desire E, located on a southern island. He expects to meet his girlfriend Makoto, but at the airfield he encounters Sylvia, who works there as a mechanic. Later, while out and about, Albert discovers a mysterious girl on the beach. Screenshots show Albert in conversation with Sylvia, and then Albert with the injured girl on the beach. Dialogue boxes are shown in the images, with Albert thinking, "Man, it's a pain," and Sylvia saying, "This is my line, who are you?" The mysterious girl's dialogue in the beach scene states, "It doesn't seem like there are external wounds, but for now, she still has consciousness." The page highlights the game's opening scenes and the power of its lucid motion presentation. There's also a special report noting the game is 60% complete, suggesting it's still in development. The overall tone is a preview, introducing the setup and key characters of this part of the game's story. This page continues the Desire game coverage, focusing on the events following the meeting with Tina. The article highlights that meeting Tina marks the beginning of a new mystery in the game. The story follows Albert taking Tina to the medical center and then the research facility. At the facility, he encounters Chris and then Makoto. The narrative moves to Chris and explores events in the professor's room, involving Elena. It seems Chris is acting suspiciously and deceiving Albert. The story then shifts to Albert and Makoto, detailing a time difference between their actions. Makoto has disappeared, and Albert searches for her, eventually ending up in Sylvia's private room in the storage area. Sylvia reveals information about the Desire research being conducted there, suggesting it has military objectives. Returning to the lodgings, Albert encounters Makoto with Kyle. The article poses the question, what happened to Makoto? Screenshots show various scenes and dialogue boxes that move the story forward, deepening the mystery surrounding Tina and the Desire project, while also focusing on the relationship between Albert, Makoto, and the suspicious actions of Chris. This page continues the introduction of Desire's heroine, Makoto, and showcases new computer graphics. It explains that Desire uses a multi-site system, where the story is told from two perspectives, Albert and Makoto, and playing both is needed to understand the full picture. Unlike the PC version, this version lets you play Albert's story first, then Makoto's. The page then highlights different aspects of Makoto's story. In the first section, Waiting for Albert, we see Makoto Izumi, described as the hard-working research leader for Desire, often sleep-deprived. She's waiting for Albert, it seems. Next, in Girl Talk, Makoto is chatting with Raiko, who listens to her worries and gives advice. They're close friends, and Raiko is always supportive. The section, Meeting Tina, refers back to Tina, the mysterious golden-haired girl found in the research facility, posing questions about her origins. Finally, Be Careful of Bad Women, shows Makoto with a microcassette recorder, listening to a tape. She's trying to figure out what's recorded and what's going on, suggesting she's investigating something potentially suspicious. The page seems to be diving deeper into Makoto's perspective and her involvement in the mysteries surrounding the Desire project. This page is a guide to the world of Desire, subtitled Island of Summer Desire. We learn that the game's setting is a secluded island funded by the Grantchester Foundation, likely to keep their research secret. The page gives us a tour of various in-game locations, starting with scenic beaches and moving on to places like Sylvia's chaotic room, the staff accommodation, a hangar big enough for serious machinery, an airport, and the main hall. We also see the research facility itself, a relaxing lounge, some corridors, the medical center, and Stella's room, which sounds important. Interestingly, there's a glimpse of Al's room, playfully telling us, "Don't look," alongside anime art. Finally, the page touches on the radio commercials for Desire, with comments from the voice cast, Ikeda, Hugami, and Kawakami, about their voice acting work, alongside a photo of the voice actors. This page showcases two exciting digital pinball games coming to the SEGA Saturn. First up is Last Gladiators Ver 9.7, a version update to the original Last Gladiators pinball game from Case. The game immerses you in the world of ancient Rome and gladiatorial combat, complete with the tagline, "We who are about to die salute you." The page features an interview with Mr. Kawaguchi from Kaze, the producer, who explains the concept behind version updates, comparing it to the evolution of the Porsche 911. The core idea stays the same, but everything else is constantly refined. He mentions that while the table design might look similar to the original, version 9.7 has completely new algorithms for ball physics and movement, and even a larger ball size, all leading to a different feel and improved gameplay. Last Gladiators ver 9.7 is set to release on September 11th for 5,800 yen, or 3,800 yen. It supports 1 to 2 players and is suitable for all ages. There's also a special report indicating the game is 80% complete. The second game featured is Knight of the Roses. Set in 6th century Western Europe, the story revolves around knights battling darkness to rescue a princess, with the tagline, "The light always defeat darkness." Both games seem to offer visually impressive and engaging pinball experiences on the Saturn. This page continues highlighting the digital pinball scene on SEGA Saturn, focusing on version updates and new titles from Kaze. The main spotlight is on Dragon Showdown, The True Warrior Awaken the Dragon. Set in 17th century Japan, featuring a battle between two powerful forces. The article mentions that while pinball games are rare in arcades these days, they are still popular on consoles. The page emphasizes that game evolution isn't limited to just one form, with version updates being a key aspect, linking back to the Last Gladiators ver 9.7 concept. They highlight the differences between the original Last Gladiators and version 9.7, pointing out graphic enhancements and enlarged ball size, showing side-by-side screenshots to illustrate these changes. There's also a section featuring an interview or commentary with Kawazoe Junichiro, who seems to be involved with these games. Finally, the page introduces another game called Warlock Prepare to Die, which appears to have a darker, fantasy theme, depicted with a screenshot of its pinball table featuring a figure and a mystical aesthetic. Both Dragon Showdown and Warlock seem to offer different thematic experiences within the pinball genre on the Saturn. Transport Tycoon for SEGA Saturn is a simulation game where players build a transportation empire. The goal is to become the greatest business king within a 100-year time frame, utilizing railways, buses, and airplanes to transport goods and generate wealth. Players begin with 20 million yen and must manage resources, understand supply and demand, and strategize their network across land and sea. Developed by Microprose, this Saturn version improves upon the original, with a user-friendly interface and tutorial. Success requires careful urban planning, particularly in metropolitan areas, alongside financial management. The game features an isometric view, vehicle selection, and city graphics. Released in October 1997 by Imagineer for 6,800 yen, it offers an accessible experience for simulation newcomers, with the final company evaluation determining one of 7 ranks. Quote, "This page continues the guide to mastering Transport Tycoon on SEGA Saturn, focusing on expanding your business effectively. It highlights that city location is crucial, meaning you can't just build railways everywhere. You need to understand each city's needs and tailor your transportation accordingly. For example, port cities rely heavily on ships, while inland cities need more trains and trucks. The page stresses that industrial development is key to success. Connecting cities via transportation boosts the flow of goods and ultimately increases your profits, especially as populations grow and consume more. Cost effectiveness is also a significant factor." The guide mentions various transport options like trains, buses, trucks, planes, and ships. While railways are expensive to set up initially, it's essential to balance costs and earnings to avoid going bankrupt. The game includes random events that can help or hinder your progress. Some events offer subsidies, while others introduce rival companies aiming for transportation dominance. You're not the only player in this tycoon world. Overcoming rivals and securing major routes is vital, making strategic route planning and competition awareness important. Finally, the guide touches on city development. As cities grow, your company profits increase. Reinvesting some of your earnings back into city development, even something as simple as planting trees around stations, is encouraged to keep the city thriving and ensure continued growth for your transportation empire. The screenshots on the page illustrate gameplay elements like city infrastructure, financial management screens, and event dialogues with characters. This page is a special feature for the Graduation series, celebrating its 10th anniversary and focusing on the upcoming Graduation 2i. It's described as a memorial and a culmination of the series. The page includes interviews with the development staff, specifically Masayoshi Kaneda from Marcus, who worked on Graduation Vacation, and Mamoru Shirai from Shogakukan Productions. They discussed the development of Graduation 2i, mentioning it's the 5th game in the overall Graduation series, but the 3rd in the pure Graduation storyline. They mentioned the first game came out in 1992, and this new title is planned for 1998. marking a decade. They also talk about aiming for a neutral character design this time around. There's a character introduction for Kyoko Ozaki, providing her stats like height, bust waist hip measurements, and birthday. Her personality is described as solitary and dislike of worldly things, with hobbies including music composition. She's portrayed as responsible and trustworthy among classmates, and her father is a salaryman. The page highlights that Graduation 2 will be a simulation game where you are a teacher at a prestigious all-girls school in Yokohama, tasked with guiding 5 students to graduate with excellent grades. It's noted that scheduling and private life elements are simplified for a faster-paced gameplay experience. It seems like they are aiming for a more streamlined and accessible game compared to previous titles. Graduation introduces 4 female characters: Kazue, a quiet and reliable reader; Nozomi, a naive airhead from a pampered background; Misaki, a bright, multilingual observer; and Yukari, an energetic, sporty, and slightly tearful sweetsmaker. An interview discusses the upcoming game, Graduation 2. The developers aim for more versatile, less stylized character designs, focusing on easier expression and comedic potential. Gameplay simplification is also a key focus, streamlining daily life aspects and scheduling based on feedback from previous games. The goal is a smoother experience, highlighting both the public and private lives of the characters for a richer player experience. The Graduation series, originating with a 1992 PC 9801 title, centers on the fictional Seika Girls High School. Subsequent titles include Graduation 2, Graduation R, The Marriage-Focused Marriage, and Graduation Crossworld. Graduation 2, Neo Generation, 1995, featured enhanced visuals. Graduation S, planned for 1997, aimed to be the definitive edition. 2 PCFX titles, Digital Graffiti and Housekeeping Questionnaire, were also in development. An interview with the development team, Iwata, Tada, and Shirai, reveals their focus on distinct character personalities and dualities within each character's public and private personas to prevent overlap. They consider the male gaze while acknowledging the female user base. The staff reminisces about past development and fan feedback about high school. This page is all about the SEGA Saturn version of Dead or Alive, announcing that the character select screen is finally complete as the game enters its final stages of development. They are really pushing the beautiful graphics of the character select screen and highlighting changes from the arcade version, specifically the character arrangement and display graphics, which have been adjusted for the Saturn's screen ratio. There might even be a change to how you select character colors compared to the arcade release. Tecmo is developing the game, aiming for an October 9th release at a price of 5,800 yen. It's described as a fighting action game suitable for all ages, supporting 2-player versus battles, and is currently 65% complete. As a special treat, they are giving away a promotional video for the Saturn version, and details on how to apply are included. For reference, they briefly describe the character selection method in the arcade version, especially for versus mode. This page delves into the character Kasumi from Dead or Alive on the Sega Saturn. The developers' comments express their admiration for Kasumi, stating she was made the main character because of her kawaiiness, indicating a strong focus on her appealing design and actions. The page then details Kasumi's fighting techniques. It mentions her basic punch and kick combinations, along with special moves like Enku Hayate and Feiinjin, emphasizing that her fighting style is user-friendly. The page breaks down her moves into categories. Striking techniques highlights the swiftness and versatility of her strikes, good for close-range battles. Throwing techniques emphasizes using throws to control space and break guards. Offensive hold explains how to counterattack after blocking. Showcases her low attacks to trip opponents. The screenshots illustrate these techniques in action, showing gameplay moments of Kasumi executing these moves against various opponents. The overall tone suggests Kasumi is a well-rounded and accessible character in Dead or Alive, suitable for both beginners and experienced players due to her varied moveset and focus on speed and technique. This page showcases Ryu Hayabusa from Dead or Alive. The developers' comments reveal that they aim to make him more than just a typical ninja, focusing on embodying the true essence of one, even down to details like how his throwing techniques are conceived. They emphasize the effort put into perfecting his moves, under the direction of the planner and director. Moving on to his techniques, Under striking techniques, it's noted that Hayabusa's attacks are quick, but might lack reach, so timing and distance are key. Throwing techniques highlights their importance in his fighting style, mentioning he has a wide variety of 9 different throws, making them versatile and powerful. Offensive hold describes counterattacks, where you grab the opponent's arms and strike their back, requiring precise timing to execute. The page further details 2 special moves. Skyblade, a spinning horizontal chop, emphasizing the need to use it from a slight distance due to its timing. Finally, destructive sweeping kick is described as a low sweeping kick combo that's also a mid-level attack, allowing for follow-up attacks after knocking the opponent off balance, stressing the importance of utilizing footwork to maximize his diverse techniques. Screenshots throughout the page visually demonstrate these techniques in action during gameplay. Overall, the page presents Ryu Hayabusa as a character with a deep and nuanced fighting style in Dead or Alive, encouraging players to master his diverse moves and strategic approach. This page offers a first look at the Saturn version of Samurai Shodown IV, Amakusa's Revenge, boasting it as a complete arcade port, enhanced with extra features unique to the Saturn. The reviewer emphasizes the impressive recreation of the arcade experience, highlighting smooth animations and additional options that enhance gameplay, making it more accessible. They encourage readers to check out the visual fidelity and new options. The page showcases screenshots illustrating the level select feature, letting you play as different versions of the same character, and the Saturn exclusive configuration and SS option menus, which allow for detailed customization. There's also a visual roster showcasing the 17 fighters who are ready to clash in deadly battles. The reviewer seems very impressed with the Saturn version and the new features it brings to the home console. This page continues the excitement for Samurai Shodown IV, Amakusa's Revenge on the SEGA Saturn, reinforcing the message that the intense battles and over-the-top special moves remain unchanged from the arcade. The text highlights that Samusupi, Samurai Spirits, is known for its thrilling clashes and visually stunning special moves, and this Saturn version keeps that spirit alive. It notes the addition of new characters and a rage explosion mode, enhancing the gameplay even further compared to the previous game. The reviewer seems to suggest the Saturn port captures the arcade thrill perfectly. Visually, the page is packed with action-filled screenshots showcasing various intense moments from the game, highlighting characters like Haomaru, Hanzo, Tamtam, Sogetsu, Charlotte, Kazuki, Nakoru, Genjuro, and Basara in the heat of battle. The bottom of the page features a cool film strip-style section showcasing character illustrations, bringing together the cast of Samurai Shodown IV. It seems like the page is enthusiastically showcasing the visual fidelity and fast-paced action of the Saturn version of this fighting game. This page is an advertisement for the SEGA Saturn game, Magical Girl Pretty Sammy. It's promoting a Sammy ni Omakase campaign, which translates to Leave It to Sammy campaign, and it's running on SEGA Saturn. The ad highlights the game as a multi-scenario digital comic, promising an exciting experience. There's a first limited edition offer, which includes a special CD featuring a song by Satsuki Yukino, who seems to be the voice actress for Sammy, plus 2 extra tracks. Additionally, there's a lottery to win animation cells as a special bonus. The game is set for release in August, and the suggested retail price is 6,800 yen, excluding tax. It mentions a sentimental graffiti event taking place on July 30th at Big Site West Hall 4, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The event will feature voice actor talk shows and original goods sales. The entry fee is 1,000 yen, which includes original goods. They mention a cool pad present as well, likely a promotional item. The bottom of the page lists NEC Interchannel as the publisher, and provides their address and phone number for user support. They also mention cooperation with NEC Avenue, Kadokawa Shoten, Tsukuda Hobby, Banpresto, Marukame Music, and others for the sentimental graffiti event. This Dream Access page features reader submissions, primarily humorous anecdotes. Several submissions reference Gasuketsu, who ran out of gas on a scooter. These include a Games of the Week mention and a Purikura photo booth featuring Gasuketsu-san. Other submissions cover varied topics, like a reader's love of cold ramen with mayonnaise, an American game rep's interest in Uncharted Waters, and a cheap purchase of Real Arcade VF. Further entries include someone writing Slayers and getting questioned, late-night play of Virtual Bart, buying leftover bread crust, and a proposal to Gasuketsu-kun. The Wakayama section notes Wakayama's tangerines. Game News Flash highlights Virtual Fighter 3 and its command. Finally, the page includes 4-panel manga from different regions, and a Sega's Frame manga competition banner. The SEGA Saturn Users Conference 97 features reader feedback. One reader dislikes the GameWare series bonus items, feeling they are a waste. Another craves a Saturn basic port, favoring simplified 2D game creation. A third suggests a more sensitive D-pad for racing games. An arcade veteran desires arcade cabinets with pad inputs to increase accessibility. The page includes a comic strip highlighting cultural differences and a review of Galaxy Fraulein Yuna, praising its visuals, improved gameplay, and strategic AI. Finally, a humorous advice column showcases fan art, and logos hint at future game releases like Sakura Wars and Sonic 3. This page features a variety of reader feedback and game-related content. Gasuketsu Shrine offers advice and encouragement to struggling gamers, while Industry Detective Club answers questions about the game industry. Planning House Virtual presents game concepts like Virtual Gangman, a Wild West action game, and live-action Maito Koman, inspired by a Japanese drama. The Wonderful Strategy Guide surprisingly provides a tip for clearing a stuffy nose. Reader submissions include a student seeking encouragement to buy software and a segment offering random tips, such as ear cleaning. Finally, Comic DA delivers a gamer-themed comic strip, and the next issue preview teases upcoming content including real sound and projects involving Sega, Atlas, and others. The page highlights reader contributions from diverse locations. This week's reader submissions for SEGA Saturn Magazine feature fan art and comments. Highlights include Dungeons & Dragons inspired art, anticipation for the game Grave, praise for Edge's music, and Azel, Panzer Dragoon RPG style, and a racing scene from Glass Ray. Reader submissions are also awarded, as seen with another submission mentioning Glass Ray winning an award. The next issue's theme is Sakura Wars 2. The magazine details a point system for submissions, where points earned from quality art can be exchanged for Saturn prizes. Guidelines specify postcards, black ink, and limited color use. The magazine also provides the submission address and features a comic strip reflecting on the Sega Saturn. The next page showcases a range of manga anthologies, all under the banner of Deluxe Comics. First up is a Pocket Monsters 4,DX book, based on the huge hit Game Boy game, Pokemon. It's a collection of 4-panel comics by a bunch of popular artists, priced at 728 yen and 136 pages long. It's already out and getting great reviews apparently. Below that, we see announcements for Super Game Anthology comic series. There are 2 books highlighted here for Toshinden and Toshinden 2, which are likely based on the fighting game's Battle Arena Toshinden and its sequel. The first Toshinden anthology features original comics and illustrations, focusing on the official character designs, and includes contributions from artists like Kotobuki Tsukasa. It's priced at 854 yen and 200 pages. The Toshinden 2 anthology is also full of original works based on the PlayStation fighting game sequel, with 4-panel comics and illustrations from various artists. This one is 951 yen and 240 pages. Finally, there's an ad for a Vampire Hunter Darkstalkers Revenge anthology comic. This is based on the popular arcade and console fighting game Darkstalkers, and is also an anthology of original comics and illustrations from well-known artists. This one is priced slightly higher at 1,068 yen, and is 224 pages long, so it's a page full of manga for fans of popular games. Sega is gearing up for summer with Sakura Wars merchandise. Announcements include a Sakura Wars Big Hug pillow featuring the cast and Imperial Assault Force emblem, a new drama CD, Summer Public Performance Because of Love, starring Maria and Sakura, is also launching. The page also promotes various Sega information services. These include the weekly Sega Joy telephone for the latest news, the Sega Fax Club for information via fax, the video magazine, Sega Video Magazine, and Sega PC Connect for news via PC networks. Finally, a flash Sega Saturn Volume 18 magazine ad highlights its July content, including playable demos of games like Panzer Dragoon RPG, Bulk Slash, and Fighter's History Dynamite on its included CD-ROM. Sega's Q in a Corner reveals plans for a digital dance mix sequel, potentially releasing in 3 to 4 months, and considering more playable characters. Fan demand for Shining Force on Sega Ages is high, leading Sega to consider it, referencing popular titles like Shining Force 2, and Shining Force Gaiden, Final Conflict, while increased save slots for Phantasy Star 2-1. Generations of Doom on Sega Ages aren't planned. Player feedback is being considered. The Sega Advertising Bulletin features personal comments from Take-chan, Destroyer de Hirano, and Honey Hanaya, discussing the Lost World movie, summer activities, and a Last Bronx cosplay guide. Finally, a postcard big recruitment section encourages fan submissions, and the week's prize is Virtua Fighter 3 character floppy disk labels. This page seems to be advertising a few books. The main one is called Otaku Amigos, subtitled Otaku is What? It's described as a book where three prominent figures from the otaku world, Okada Toshio, Tozawa Shunichi, and Nemuta Nao, engage in heated discussions. It claims to be a book where fun recycling sheds new light on old masterpieces and encourages readers to join the Amigo ranks. The book also features a list of deluxe guest contributors, including notable names like Ito Shinpei, manga artist, Tatekawa Danshun, rakugo performer, Kaitani Hiroji, illustrator, Terashima Reiko, manga artist, Sorobon's KKO, manga artist, Nakano Yoshio, film director, Takekuma Kentaro, manga critic, and Yamamoto Hiromu, SF writer and society president. It's B6 size, 176 pages, and costs 1,300 yen. Below are advertisements for two manga. First is Dungeon Mania by Sakata Kaiko, described as a comic compilation based on the Super 64 column. It promises enjoyable reading and viewing, showcasing the first ever column by a manga artist from Game Freak, costing 971 yen for 192 pages. The second manga is Game Machine is Daisy Daisy's Song by Ono Sayuri, with illustrations by Mizutama Kinunosuke. It's promoted as a compilation of popular columns from the Super Famicom. It mentions author Ono Sayuri, known for Strange Tales and 12 Days Chronicles, discussing various game themes. It also features illustrations by Mizutama Kinunosuke and encourages readers to enjoy both. This one is 240 pages for 971 yen. This page showcases a SEGA Saturn software databank covering game releases from November 1994 to July 1997. It acts like a player's guide, offering a look back at the Saturn software library and providing reader review scores alongside the magazine's own ratings. The listed games include titles across various genres, such as action, adventure, RPG, and strategy. You can see games like Virtua Fighter, Myst, Daytona USA, and Clockwork Knight listed here, among many others. The databank provides details like release dates, developers, prices, genre classifications, reader scores, magazine scores, and compatibility information for peripherals like the mouse or steering wheel. It's essentially a comprehensive reference for Sega Saturn games available up to that point, allowing readers to check game info and reviews at a glance. This page continues the Sega Saturn software databank, providing a detailed list of games with their release dates, manufacturers, prices, genres, and review scores from both readers and the magazine itself. We are still looking at releases up to the mid-90s, and the page is packed with titles spanning various genres. Looking through this section, we can see a wide variety of games listed. There are titles like FIFA Soccer, 96, Street Fighter Movie, and puzzle games like Brain Battle Q. There are also more obscure titles and Japanese-specific releases. The table includes the price of each game in yen, and the game genre is abbreviated. Reader and magazine review scores give an idea of game reception, and the support column indicates peripheral compatibility, such as mouse or handle, steering wheel. The page offers a snapshot of the breadth of the Sega Saturn's library at this time, highlighting both well-known titles and more niche games, giving players a good resource for checking out games and their ratings. It's a handy guide for anyone looking back at the Saturn software during this period and wanting to explore different genres and titles. This page continues the Sega Saturn software databank and presents a comprehensive list of Sega Saturn games. We can see a huge variety of titles across many genres. There are sports games like Actua Soccer, puzzle games, and titles from genres like RPG, action, shooting, and strategy. Looking at some of the game titles, we see familiar ones such as Deep Fear, Street Fighter 02, Virtua Fighter Kids, Virtua Cop 2, Daytona USA, Panzer Dragoon, Guardian Heroes, Elevator Action Returns, and Thunder Force Gold Pack 1. The table provides details such as the release dates throughout 1996, the game manufacturers like SEGA, Atlus, Konami, and Capcom, the prices, the game genres which are abbreviated, and importantly, reader and magazine review scores, giving a good indication of game quality at the time. There is also a column indicating peripheral compatibility, like mouse or steering wheel for certain games. It's a fantastic snapshot of the diverse software library available for the Sega Saturn during this period, showcasing both popular and more niche titles, and serving as a useful resource for gamers wanting to explore the Saturn's catalog. This page continues to list even more Sega Saturn games in the software databank. It's still a huge variety of titles with a focus on Japanese releases. You can see a mix of genres including action, RPG, puzzle, simulation, and strategy games are still prominent. Looking through some of the titles, you'll spot familiar games like Tomb Raider, Daytona USA Circuit Edition, and Elevator Action Returns. The page goes on providing the same detailed breakdown for each game, including release dates, the companies behind them, prices, genres, and both reader and magazine review scores, all helpful for seeing how games were received at the time. It's a continuation of the fantastic overview of the Sega Saturn's game library, showing the sheer number and range of games that were available, from the big names to some of the more obscure titles. This page continues the extensive Sega Saturn game databank, showcasing a large collection of titles. It appears to be another section of the software index, still primarily focused on Japanese releases, but with a mix of genres. You'll find a table listing games with details like release dates, publishers, prices, genres, reader and magazine review scores, and some compatibility notes. Looking at the titles, there's a variety of games including Actra Soccer, Advanced World War, 19,141,918, and Amok. The data table goes on, with details for a large number of games, similar to the previous page, offering a snapshot of the Saturn software lineup at the time. Below the table is an index section. This index seems to be an alphabetical list of game titles in Japanese script, along with software numbers, acting as a quick reference to locate games within the larger databank. It's a practical tool for readers to quickly find information about specific games they are interested in within this magazine's comprehensive game database. This page continues the extensive game databank. It's packed with more Sega Saturn titles listed in a detailed table format. You'll find a huge variety of games from different genres here. It looks like they are still focusing on Japanese releases primarily, but some titles will be familiar to international gamers. Navigating this page, you can see the table format continues with columns for game titles in Japanese, along with software numbers. It's a dense list again, covering a broad range of titles, continuing the alphabetical order from the previous page. It looks like there's less focus on review scores on this page, but it still seems to be primarily a software directory aimed at providing a comprehensive overview of available Sega Saturn games. The index section also continues, offering a way to quickly find specific games within this large listing. This page continues the extensive Sega Saturn game listing, still organized in that detailed table format. It's basically more of the same, just a massive directory of games. You'll find a huge mix of titles from pretty much every genre imaginable. Scrolling through, you can see popular titles like the Virtua Fighter series, including various editions and spin-offs like Virtua Fighter Kids and Virtua Racing Saturn, which is listed as Virtua Racing. There are also puzzle games like Magical Drop, represented by several entries including Magical Drop 2 and Magical Drop 3. For RPG fans, you'll spot titles like Lunar Silver Star Story MPEG version. There are also a number of lesser-known or Japan-exclusive titles mixed in there, making it a real treasure trove of Saturn software. Overall, it's a continuation of that comprehensive game database, a really deep dive into the Sega Saturn software library. It's a lot of titles to take in, but a great resource if you're looking for pretty much any Saturn game released around that time in Japan. This page is titled Data Focus Volume 3, and it's a strategy guide for the game The Conveni on Sega Saturn. The guide is all about how to dominate a town with your convenience store chain. It's presented as an ultimate manual for conquering that town by becoming the owner of a convenience store chain and enjoying management freedom within the game, The Conveni. The first section, Step 1, is about accurate site selection for stable management. It highlights that choosing the right location is crucial for the store's foundation and future success. It emphasizes paying attention to land prices, noting that prices are usually higher in areas with many buildings and developed areas. The guide advises looking at maps carefully, suggesting that locations near roads and railways tend to have rising land prices. They also point out that placing your store near existing rival stores might not be ideal. Another key element is acquiring sales rights, especially for tobacco and alcohol, which are considered important for attracting customers and increasing sales. The screenshots show in-game map interfaces, highlighting land prices, and the process of selecting a location and acquiring sales permits. Basically, this page is giving players a solid foundation on how to pick the best spots and get the necessary licenses to run a successful convenience store in the Conveni. The Conveni Strategy Guide's second step focuses on designing an attractive interior to draw customers. It stresses understanding customer behavior, encouraging observation of shopping habits, particularly impulse buys. Key elements include shelf placement, product arrangement, and controlling customer flow to maximize product exposure. The guide suggests strategically positioning popular items like food and drinks and avoiding narrow aisles that cause congestion. It recommends a minimum aisle width of 1.5 blocks. The guide emphasizes the cashier's importance and suggests layouts that facilitate smooth customer flow. Examples of good circular flow layouts versus bad, dead-end designs are presented. The placement of staff areas is also considered. The overall goal is to design a layout that promotes impulse purchases and increases sales. Quote, the next page of the Conveni Strategy Guide, titled Business Strategy Decision, moves on to Step 3, focusing on sales pricing and operating hours. It emphasizes the importance of setting prices and hours before the grand opening, as these are fundamental to your store's strategy. Regarding pricing, the guide recommends initially setting prices at 100% and then adjusting them based on customer price sensitivity and competitor analysis. The advice is to attract customers by setting prices slightly lower than rival stores, particularly for popular items. Aiming for an overall price rate of around 80% is suggested to draw in customers, with the ability to gradually increase prices later. The guide also warns against setting prices too high initially, as it can negatively impact your store's reputation. For operating hours, the guide suggests considering the local customer lifestyle and starting with a minimum of 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. It mentions that while 24-hour operation is a goal, it should be approached carefully, especially if staff capabilities are still developing. Cleanliness is highlighted as a crucial factor for 24-hour operation, recommending a cleanliness level above 90% before making the switch. Screenshots on the page show the in-game menus for adjusting sales prices and setting operating hours within the Conveni. Essentially, this page is about making smart decisions on pricing and opening times to maximize customer attraction and store efficiency in the Conveni. The Conveni Strategy Guide emphasizes that effective staff management is critical for store success. Hiring is the first step. You can hire up to 3 staff per store, but a manager is required to open. Staff performance is determined by personality traits, stamina, education, agility, and sociability. The guide suggests a balanced approach. Aim for staff with good overall stats, but consider specializing roles. Dismissal, staff relocation, and salary negotiations are also important. Wages increase over time, and staff may request raises. The frequency of these requests depends on difficulty. The guide recommends offering modest raises, around 20 yen, and advises against excessive increases, as repeatedly refusing reasonable pay raises can cause staff to quit. This page continues the staff guide for the Conveni and focuses on recommended staff members for your store. It breaks down staff into 3 main types: the versatile type, suited for store managers; the physical type, ideal for product replenishment; and the service type, who excel at register work and cleaning. For each staff type, they show profiles of various employees, each with a photo, name, age, gender, hourly wage, and education level. A radar chart for each staff member visualizes their abilities across categories like stamina, security, register skills, replenishment, cleaning, and service. The descriptions highlight the strengths of each staff type. Versatile types are good all-rounders with high education. Physical types are strong and have high stamina, perfect for physically demanding tasks. Service types are great at customer service and keeping the store clean. The advice suggests balancing staff types to cover all store needs effectively. Maybe pairing a physical type with a service type for a well-rounded team. They also point out the best ways to use each staff member based on their skills, giving practical advice on team composition within the conveni. The next page continues the guide for the conveni, now focusing on how to bring in more customers and boost sales. It's all about attracting customers to your store and understanding their needs. The page talks about figuring out where your customers come from, emphasizing that most customers live or work within a 20-area radius of your store. Knowing the types of buildings around your store, like offices or schools, helps you understand your customer base, whether they are office workers or students. To boost customer numbers, the guide suggests inducement, which seems to be about attracting people from nearby locations by improving security and installing public announcement systems. They mention that improving security and adding announcements in areas close to your shop will draw in more people. Advertising is also highlighted as a key method to increase popularity quickly. They mention different advertising options, including direct mail and TV commercials, noting that while TV ads are expensive, they are very effective. It advises to use a mix of advertising strategies depending on your budget. Finally, the page covers using customer questionnaires to understand what customers want and what products are popular. Analyzing this data helps you adjust your store's inventory to better meet customer demand, focusing on top-selling items and identifying items that are consistently requested but out of stock. This data-driven approach is key to optimizing your store's product lineup and increasing customer satisfaction. This guide section covers rival store management and map strategy in the conveni. Rival stores are inevitable. Tactics include hindering their expansion by understanding their product areas and strategic store placement, or aggressive actions like branch placement to steal customers. Coexistence can be viable, especially on less populated maps. For beginner maps, attracting a city hall is the goal. This requires population growth, with targets of 5,000 plus, 10,000 plus, and 30,000 plus for town hall, ward office, and city hall respectively. Open stores near train stations and main roads to increase land value and attract residents. Focus on railway areas for subsequent store locations to maximize profit and population density, strategically developing the map to reach the desired population and infrastructure level. This guide progresses from beginner-level gameplay in the conveni, focusing on medium and advanced maps and achieving a top owner rating. The medium map requires building 10 stores, noting the importance of strategic location near train stations and intersections despite higher land prices. Buying out rivals is recommended. The advanced map, with a smaller population, emphasizes store placement within existing population centers, leveraging locations between rivals and public facilities. Pricing is crucial, with an 80 to 90% sales price ratio advised. Achieving a 5-star owner rating demands at least 10 stores, 500,000 plus customers, 600 million plus yen in sales, a population over 20,000, and a store evaluation score of 90 or higher, based on land value, building costs, and stock value. This survey postcard from a magazine solicits reader feedback. Readers are instructed to answer demographic questions: gender, age, occupation, indicate SEGA Saturn game ownership, and list their favorite computer game magazines. The survey asks readers to rate the issue's articles, choosing the top 3 most and least interesting from a provided table. It also seeks general feedback, gift preferences, and questionnaire submission frequency. Further questions cover current and planned hardware ownership, Table 2, and desired future software purchases, Table 3, with detailed lists of Saturn hardware and game titles. The postcard includes examples of how to complete the questionnaire. This page promotes anime movies for the summer of 1997 in Japan, declaring Japanese animation as true cinema. It suggests watching anime films during the summer vacation and features key visuals from popular anime at the time, including Evangelion with images of Unit 01, Asuka, Rei, and Shinji, and also Princess Mononoke with San and Moro. The page specifically highlights the End of Evangelion movie and lists a variety of anime movies to watch, such as Princess Mononoke, Jungle Emperor Leo, Slayer's Great, Tenchi Muyo, Midsummer's Eve, and even Disney's Hercules. It also mentions Let's and Go, Elmer's Adventure, and Upon Man, Rainbow Pyramid, and a special Toei Anime Fair selection that includes Hell Teacher Noob, Cutie Honey Flash, Geijei no Kitaro, and Tamagotchi. The page concludes by encouraging viewers to enjoy these anime movies, suggesting that the worlds of games and anime are merging, and all these works are worth watching. This page continues the summer anime movie theme and focuses primarily on The End of Evangelion. It highlights the movie as being released on July 19th and promotes it as the theatrical version of Neon Genesis Evangelion, Air, Sincerely Yours. The page features questions like, therefore, is it okay for everyone to die? And Shinji, Asuka, Rei, and then humanity is, hinting at the intense and philosophical nature of the film. There's a story synopsis that mentions the final battle against the angels and the Human Instrumentality Project. It talks about Gendo Ikari confronting Seele and Rei, and the desperate struggle of Shinji, who is in a state of mental collapse while piloting Unit 01. The story section suggests a complex and desperate situation. The page includes character introductions for Shinji, Rei, and Asuka, giving brief descriptions of their roles and situations within the Evangelion storyline. It also has a voice actor list detailing the voice cast for the movie. The page is essentially building anticipation for The End of Evangelion and its exploration of complex themes. This page continues the Evangelion coverage, diving into reactions to The End of Evangelion movie. Reviewers are really impressed, one calling it a new standard for digital movies, praising the sound and visuals, and predicting it will be studied for years to come. Another reviewer was thrilled to see episodes 25 and 26 reimagined and felt it was a reward for dedicated anime fans. The third reviewer sees it as a revolutionary work that breaks free from societal constraints, praising the director for exceeding expectations. The page also breaks down key terms like the Human Instrumentality Project, Seele, Third Impact, Lilith, Adam, Yui Ikari, and Zirel, to help understand the complex plot of Evangelion. It explains things like Seele's plan to merge humanity, the origins of Lilith and Adam, and the role of Yui Ikari and Rei. Finally, it highlights a few SEGA Saturn games related to Evangelion. These include the original Neon Genesis Evangelion movie adventure game, a sequel called Second Impression with branching storylines and new anime scenes, and the digital card library, which is a database and minigame collection. Princess Mononoke, releasing July 12th, explores the clash between humans and nature in ancient Japan. The film's core conflict stems from a Tatarigami's curse, which leads Ashitaka on a journey west, placing him between humans and the forest gods. He encounters San, also known as Princess Mononoke, a wolf-raised girl fiercely defending the forest. Key characters include Ashitaka, San, Lady Eboshi, leader of the human settlement and enemy of the forest, and Gonza, her loyal follower. Director Miyazaki emphasizes the film's themes of humanity's relationship with nature, building upon his previous works. He promises stunning visuals, action, and imaginative creatures, achieved through a massive production scale. This could be his final long-feature film and is being distributed by Disney, with deeper thematic layers beyond surface entertainment. This page explores Hayao Miyazaki's directorial career, focusing on 5 key films: Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, Castle in the Sky, My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, and Porco Rosso. The page also includes reviews of Princess Mononoke, with viewers praising its animation and emotional impact, though some found aspects confusing. Miyazaki's potential retirement is addressed, highlighting his physical limitations and desire to pass on his legacy, though hints suggest he might continue smaller, non-commercial projects. Finally, the page discusses the recurring theme of sky-flying girls in his films, representing hope and dreams, and promotes the video release of Whisper of the Heart. This page is about the anime movie Jungle Emperor, which is based on Osamu Tezuka's manga, known internationally as Kimba the White Lion. The movie is set to be released in cinemas from August 1st. The story revolves around a mysterious moonstone with immense energy, discovered in Moon Mountain in Africa. An investigation team, including King Leo the Lion, ventures into the jungle and Moon Mountain. The animals are injured, and Leo's son, Rune, seeks help from humans. The story explores the future of the jungle, and what Leo, the Jungle Emperor, is thinking. This movie marks the first time the original manga's ending is depicted in anime form. It's a retelling focusing on Leo in his adult years and covering the manga's finale. The original Jungle Emperor was Japan's first color TV anime in 1965, and this movie is a faithful adaptation, incorporating orchestral music and voice acting from various talents. Interestingly, it's mentioned that Jungle Emperor even influenced Disney's The Lion King, making this a must-see classic for anime fans. There are lists of voice actors for the characters, like Leo, Rhea, Rune, and others. And another list mentioning famous people participating in the movie, with 1 or 2 lines of dialogue. Jungle Emperor introduces characters, starting with jungle animals. Leo, Kimba, the White Lion King, loves peace. His son, Rune, yearns for the human world. Coco, a parrot, is the knowledgeable storyteller. Bagheera, an elephant, embodies justice. Human characters include Higio-Yaji, a helpful figure appearing in many of Tezuka's works, and Ham-Egg, a villainous hunter. This movie is based on the manga's ending, a 3-generation family drama, focusing on an adult Leo. It's a faithful adaptation of the original manga, influenced by the 1965 TV anime, Japan's first color anime. Tezuka Rumiko emphasizes the story explores life, death, and parent-child relationships, timeless themes. The film aims to resonate with audiences due to its enduring message. Quote, Slayer's Great is the 3rd movie in the Slayers film series, promising enhanced attack magic and humor. The story centers on a golem-making contest between Lena Inverse and Naga the Serpent, set in a town specializing in golem production. The winner claims ownership of the town's stoner. The film's script is by Kanzaka Hajime, the original Slayers creator. The voice cast includes Megumi Hayashibara as Lena and Maria Kawamura as Naga. Lena is portrayed as a brilliant sorceress who travels to defeat evil and collect treasures. Naga is introduced as Lena's rival, known for her flamboyant appearance. An interview with producer Teruhiko Ishizuka discusses the relationship between the film and Slayers games, noting shared staff but separate content. He suggests game fans will appreciate the movie, highlighting the unique visual quality of film. The upcoming anime film, Tenchi Muyo, Midsummer Eve, releasing August 2nd, is a hectic SF love comedy, promising a return to the beloved series. The plot revolves around Tenchi discovering a music box and a girl, Mayuka, claiming to be his daughter, causing chaos within the Masaki household. The film features voice actors like Masaki Tenchi and Kawasumi Ayaka, and the theme song, Manatsu no Eve. This new film differs from games, offering a purely cinematic experience, exploring new facets of the Tenchi character. Producer Fukurio Ryo promises a fresh perspective on the Tenchi Muyo world. Special advance tickets offer bonuses like the Slayers Pikorin minigame, limited to 10,000 copies, and a clear file featuring movie artwork, both limited edition items. This page is all about Disney's Hercules movie, which is described as a macho heroic youth story. It dives into the tale of Hercules, who was turned into a human and aims to become a true hero. A story of love and adventure. Born as Zeus's son, Hercules gets transformed by Hades, the god of the underworld. To return to the god's realm, he must become a true hero, facing trials and tribulations, including Hades' evil schemes. The article emphasizes how Disney is approaching this animated film differently. For character designs, they've brought in a British cartoonist, Gerald Scarfe, which is a departure from their usual anime style. The music is also unique, taking on a gospel touch, while still staying true to the Greek mythology theme. The voice cast for the Japanese dub is also mentioned, featuring Titan Kusunoki as Hercules, Susan Egan as Megara, James Woods as Hades, and Danny DeVito as Philoctetes. Character introductions are provided for Zeus as the king of gods, Hades as the ruler of the underworld plotting against Olympus, Philoctetes, Phil, as the legendary trainer of heroes who's coaxed out of retirement to train Hercules, and Megara, Meg, a beautiful woman who once served Hades but finds her heart changing after meeting Hercules. Finally, there's a section showing Hercules merchandise, including t-shirts, mugs, and a knit cap. This page is highlighting the 97 Summer Toei Anime Fair, promoting 4 anime films for this year's event. First up is Cutie Honey Flash, described as a battle to protect a 6,000-year-old legendary treasure. The story focuses on a love triangle involving Honey, the archaeologist Robert, and Seijiro Hayami. The voice cast includes Ai Nagano as Cutie Honey. Next is Hell Teacher Noob, set during summer vacation. The story takes place on a southern island, where Nube and his students encounter a mysterious girl named Jing, and legends of sea monsters. A key point to watch out for is whether Jing is a sea monster herself.
The voice cast includes Ryotaro Okiya, YU as Noob. Then, there's Gege no Kitaro, where Western yokai are causing chaos. Kitaro is tasked by Enma Daio to stop them, but faces challenges including being turned into stone. This movie promises a grand gathering of various yokai. Yoko Matsuoka voices Kitaro. Finally, Tamagotchi True Story focuses on the Tamagotchi planet and the disaster caused by Oyajichi. The secret of Tamagotchi will be revealed. Chisa Yokoyama voices Mamechi. As a bonus, there's a mention of the live-action movie Tokimeki Memorial, described as a coming-of-age story set in high school during summer, featuring various actresses like Rina Chishiro and Emi Nakayama. This page continues to promote the 97 Summer Toei Anime Fair, showcasing more anime films set to be released in July.
First up is Explosive Brothers Let's Go! WGP, opening on July 5th. This movie follows the TRF Victories team participating in the WGP World Grand Prix. A new machine called Gun Blaster, equipped with a GP chip, appears and causes chaos. The story revolves around the team chasing after the rampaging Gun Blaster and its pilot, Lion, to stop them, with the Victories aiming to apprehend Gun Blaster. Next, also releasing on July 5th, is Elmer's Adventure, or My Father's Dragon. The story centers on Elmer Elevator, a boy living in Kanakame Town, whose destiny changes drastically when he meets a talking cat. The cat tells Elmer about Monster Island, a place where captured dragons reside, controlled by violent animals, and where a dragon child is said to be. Elmer, a brave and adventurous boy, sets off to Monster Island. Finally, Soreke, Anpanman, Rainbow Pyramid, is scheduled for release on July 26th. This film continues the adventures of an Anpanman, a popular children's animation character.
This time, an Anpanman faces a new adventure in the Rainbow Pyramid.
The page also mentions music related to Elmer's Adventure, with the opening theme song performed by Yuki, marking her voice acting debut. The ending theme is by Takanori Utsunomiya from TMN, with both songs overseen by Tetsuya Komuro.
This page showcases 3 slightly cult classic anime movies for adults.
First up is Asparagus, an erotic art anime directed by Susan Pitt, known for her work on Peter Gabriel's music videos. It's described as having vibrant colors that depict the imagination of a young girl, and includes short films alongside Asparagus. It's playing from August 2nd at Box Higashi Nakano. The second movie, Joyful Accomplices, is a surreal black comedy from Czech art animator Jan Svankmajer, playing from August 9th at Eurospace. It's described as a Kafka-esque drama that utilizes puppets with deep performances and explores irrational scenarios. A highlight is its use of fetishistic props and equipment, like bird-human sets and automatic egg beaters. Finally, the page heavily features Wallace and Gromit, A Close Shave, opening on August 2nd at Shibuya Cine Amuse and Ginza Cine La Set. This claymation adventure, directed by Nick Park, features the beloved duo Wallace and Gromit in a new Penguin Troubles installment. The page emphasizes the charming and humorous animation, noting the 15 cm clay figures and the overall sense of danger and excitement in this latest film. It highlights the quirky humor and character design that fans have come to expect from Wallace and Gromit. In the summer of 1997, a roundtable of anime experts discussed the hottest movies in Japanese theaters. The main event was a face-off between Hayao Miyazaki's Princess Mononoke and The End of Evangelion. Experts like Masuzo Furukawa favored Princess Mononoke, while others anticipated Evangelion's impact. The discussion also included other notable releases like Doraemon films, other Ghibli works, Let's Go films from Toei, and even Tamagotchi. Other titles mentioned included Spooky Kitaro, Slayers, and Tenchi Muyo, indicating a diverse range of offerings. The conversation highlighted anime's growing mainstream appeal and international recognition. The experts debated whether audiences would prefer darker, complex themes over more traditional narratives, with the contrasting endings of Evangelion and Princess Mononoke serving as the ultimate test. This page introduces the character Tetsu Aizawa from the fighting game Anarchy in the Nippon. It's part of a character introduction series, focusing on one of the 8 playable characters in the game. The article highlights Tetsu's background as a boxer, emphasizing his strong punches and combo attacks that focus on upper and middle-level strikes. He's described as a powerful character who excels at breaking guards with strong techniques.
The page also features in-game screenshots showcasing Tetsu's moves. There's a section called Check Out the Signature Moves that details some of his special techniques. One move, Kamon, is executed with a back, punch, kick, guard, and evade input, described as a hey. Another named move is Tempo Seal Body Blow, activated with 2 punches and a kick. Lastly, there's an unnamed technique involving punch, forward, punch, 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 kick, and punch and kick again. This is described as a powerful combo starting with 4 jabs, followed by an uppercut to launch the opponent, and further attacks in mid-air, guaranteeing a continuous combo if the first hit connects. The Iron Man reviewer comments that Tetsu is a speed-based character, with hand and throw techniques at his core, though his flashier moves are punch-based, like Tempo Seal and Flicker. The reviewer mentions he resembles characters from manga, and likes his guard-breaking abilities, recommending an aggressive playstyle with him. Essentially, the page gives a good overview of Tetsu's fighting style and strengths in Anarchy in the Nippon. This page of Passion Langrisser Volume 9 in SEGA Saturn Magazine focuses on the character Lanford from Langrisser IV. Lucky Takada is interviewed and talks about Lanford's design, highlighting that he was intended to be the most human-like rival character compared to previous rivals like Leon and Altamüller, who were more extreme. It mentions that Lanford's design was approached with the idea of him being closer to an ordinary person, even with his inner conflicts. The page features a character profile for Lanford, stating his voice actor is Yasuhisa Inoue, and his age is 26, alongside artwork of him. There's also a section showing the original concept sketch for Lanford by Urushihara. There's a section called Carrier Soft's Illustrator's Room, featuring someone named Fujita, discussing CG visuals and the move to using CG for in-game visuals. Another section called CG Battle seems to be a humorous recollection of past events where staff photos were used without permission. Finally, the next issue notice mentions that the main character introductions are concluding, and the next issue will feature sub-characters. The next issue's cover will feature artwork by Urushihara. There's also a small artwork of Ristel from Langrisser IV at the bottom of the page, and a mailing address for Passion Langrisser-related correspondence. The article, Around the Digiana World, previews the Digio 2, a new digital camera aiming for accessibility. Positioned as a step forward in digital camera evolution, it contrasts with expensive, high-end models. The Digio 2 targets users seeking an easier-to-use, lower-priced option. A key selling point is its direct connectivity with the SEGA Saturn, allowing users to view images on their TV. It utilizes smart media cards for storage, with an optional floppy drive. The reviewer anticipates a price around 10,000 to 15,000 yen, and hopes it will broaden digital camera adoption. The article is written by Kazutoshi Otani, a tech writer born in 1958, known for his work with Macintosh computers. This page showcases the latest SEGA Saturn game titles and upcoming releases. It highlights titles that are making their first appearance in the magazine. The new release title section features games like Super Variable Adventure, Doki Doki Nightmare, Reflection Spark, Oedo Renaissance, Fake Down, Basic for Sega Saturn PC Communication Type, and Go 2i Professional Taikyoku Igo. The Coming Soon soft section introduces anticipated titles for the summer. These include Graduation S, J-League Pro Soccer Club, Otsukuru 2, likely Sega Worldwide Soccer 98 internationally, Slayers Royal, Virus, Langrisser IV, Asuka 120% Limited Burning Fest, Mysterious Thief Saint Tail, Phantasm, and Wiz. The page also features a prominent image of what appears to be Lena Inverse from the anime series Slayers, suggesting the inclusion of Slayers Royal in the upcoming games list is a key highlight. The page acts as a preview of the exciting games to look forward to on the Sega Saturn. This page shines a spotlight on the upcoming Sega Saturn game, Super Variable Adventure Doki Doki Nightmare from Jaleco. This adventure title is said to be based on the popular Super Pain series of beautiful girl games,
but this time with a romance-adventure twist. It promises to expand the chaotic Superpang world even further with this new installment. The page highlights the addition of 2 brand new characters, designed by Kenichi Sonoda and animated by Hiroaki Inoue. Introducing the new characters, we have Kotori Ninomiya, a 16-year-old Scorpio, born on November 14th, with blood type A. She's described as a pure and devoted girl, who believes in destiny, and gets very jealous of any girl who gets close to the player, while being incredibly devoted to the player themselves. The other new character is Rim, who is shrouded in mystery, with her birth date, age, star sign, and blood type all marked as unknown. She's portrayed as a mysterious girl who makes a contract with Kokotori and hides away during the daytime, hinting at a hidden and potentially darker side to her. The page includes screenshots showing off the game's visual style, featuring in-game scenes and character artwork. This page showcases 3 new games coming to Sega Saturn. First up is Spark Reflection, an action title that's 70% complete. The gameplay revolves around reflecting discs using mirrors to defeat enemies. The more you reflect a disc, the bigger and faster it becomes. Stages have various hazards, and you can freely rotate the mirrors. Next is Edo Renaissance, a simulation game at 50% completion. Here you take on the role of an elder during the Edo period in Japan, managing politics and finances. You'll be working on various reforms and rebuilding Edo into a prosperous town. Lastly, we have Fake Down, an action-adventure game, also at 50% completion. This game features visual concepts and character designs by Kazuhiro Okubo, who is known for his work on Akira. We are introduced to Dion, the main protagonist, and Orbis, a warrior dedicated to protecting humans from fakers. The game seems to have character customization options and window-based interfaces for stats. Screenshots show the window display and character artwork, highlighting 3 character types: Power, Speed, and Tricky. The next page introduces 2 new titles. The first is Basic for Sega Saturn, a programming tool boasting 99% completion. It's presented as a comprehensive tool that lets users create games on the Saturn, which is a first. It emphasizes improved sound functions using MML for easy music creation and structured programming for clearer code, similar to EC language. Key features include PIC connectivity, allowing users to import a COIF and WAV audio files, and a polygon editor. Screenshots show code examples, music creation interfaces, and even a sample 3D shooting game created using BASIC, highlighting the potential for game development. The second title is Go2i Professional Match Go, a fully complete Go game. This software is designed for everyone from beginners to advanced players. It boasts customizable features to tailor the game to your skill level and preferences. You can adjust the game's difficulty, select from classic to colorful board and stone designs, and even adjust the board's transparency against a scenic background. The game includes background music featuring classical pieces and supports 9x9 and 13x13 Go boards, in addition to the standard 19x19 board. It also features 3 D-board options. The reviewer highlights the game's ease of use and rich features, making it enjoyable for a wide range of Go players. This page delves into the world of Graduation S, a training simulation game from NEC Interchannel that is marked as 90% complete. It's highlighted as a long-running series, and this iteration is presented as the culmination for the Saturn. The game's objective revolves around guiding 5 students from Class 3B at a girls' high school to graduation. As a teacher, you'll have a year to interact with them, which is described as a busy and crucial period. The page showcases character parameters, revealing stats like HP, vitality, popularity, charm, ability, application, and memory. These parameters are categorized into physical, character, and study types, and these values will directly influence the game's ending, specifically the students' paths after graduation. Gameplay is structured around a weekly schedule, divided into weekdays and holidays. You manage the students' activities, influencing their development, and the game emphasizes the importance of observing their constantly changing parameters, even intangible elements like mood. It seems player choices and interactions deeply affect the students' progress and outcomes. Graduation S features several impactful school events beyond regular classes. The athletic meet involves class relays, with the anchor runner being crucial, and teachers offering encouragement. The drama festival allows students to perform plays with varying scenarios, where the leader and props significantly influence the score. Midterm and final exams see the teacher's guidance directly affecting student test scores, with bonus points awarded for interesting answers. The Clearness Festival, exclusive to Saturn, is a musical event where students form bands and perform, with song choices and singers determining the evaluation. A private Kyoka Girls High School guidance section provides context, detailing the school's setting, foundation, student demographics, and post-graduation statistics, including the school motto. This page details exciting new features in J.League Pro Soccer Club wo Tsukuru 2, which seems to be focused on enhanced training and sponsor management. The headline emphasizes training menus are evolved and increased. It highlights the new one-month instruction feature, allowing players to set training regimes for individual players over a month, moving away from daily micromanagement and trusting the coach more. There are screenshots showing different training menus and options. The page also mentions sponsor contracts also changed, detailing that you can now have multiple sponsors simultaneously, unlike the previous game where you were limited to one per year. However, breaking contract terms has consequences. Screenshots illustrate sponsor details and potential penalties for breaches. There's a developer interview section featuring Ohashi and Matsura discussing sponsor and training selections, emphasizing the strategic depth and player development aspects of the game. They touch on the balance between micromanagement and trusting the AI, and how these new features add to the overall simulation experience. The page ends with comments on how these improvements make raising players and managing the team more engaging. This page continues the deep dive into J.League Pro Soccer Club wo Tsukuru 2, highlighting the evolved training menus. It really emphasizes the new one-month instruction feature, where you can set monthly training plans for individual players, giving you a break from daily tweaks and letting the coach take some initiative. The page details various training options, including individual training to hone specific player skills, and joint training to boost team coordination. The individual training section breaks down training types like striker, dribbler, playmaker, defensive MF, and center back, each designed to enhance specific player roles. Basic training covers fundamental skills such as passing, dribbling, shooting, defense, and free kicks. There's also special training for temporary condition boosts, but be warned, it can tire out your players later. The page also discusses combination strengthening, which is all about improving teamwork, and tactics, which includes options like balance, attacking focus, defensive focus, zone press, counterattack, and utilizing a libero. For those who prefer micromanagement, every instruction is available, letting you customize training daily, offering menus like basic and special training alongside system and tactic adjustments. The developer interview with Ohashi and Matsura touches upon player development strategies and the balance between detailed control and trusting your coach. They discuss how these new training features enhance the game's depth and player growth, making team management a more engaging experience. The large image on the page is of Wada Akihito, a team leader and programmer on the game. This page showcases the RPG Slayers Royal 2. It emphasizes that this game lets you fully experience the world of Slayers and brings the characters' personalities to life, also noting the voice actors from the anime are involved. The reviewer says it's a must-see. The page highlights that the game features a completely new story that takes place after the theatrical release of Slayer's Return, including familiar characters and even Galef from Return. It's described as a luxurious and fitting addition to the Slayers Royal series. The page points out two key aspects of the game. Firstly, the chibi character graphics, which are seen as a big appeal and very cute, especially when casting powerful magic. Secondly, it emphasizes the Slayers-like scenarios, saying that the game recreates the feel of the series with town scenes, battle scenes, and conversations, much like the original work, and promises humorous scenes. There are screenshots demonstrating both the chibi-style gameplay and dialogue scenes within the game. This page is giving us a look into the adventure of a new Slayers game, focusing on the story's progression through the early to mid stages. It seems to be guiding players through the locations they'll visit, from Leywood Village to Iselson City, and the challenges they'll face. We start in Leywood Village, where Lena and Gori are continuing their journey and meet up with Naga,
Then it seems we move on to Barkland City, where Zelgadis makes an appearance. Next up is Gramstock Village, mentioning a character named Lark and his sister, and hinting at treasure. Sonia City is the next stop, where we see Zelgadis again, and Amelia joins the party too. Then, in Markwell's village, the quest for information about Lazarium leads them towards Selyun. Finally, Iselcent City appears to be the location for a confrontation with a Mazoku leader named Zod, suggesting a big battle is coming. The page is structured like a flowchart, guiding us through the game's locations and character encounters. It highlights key events in each area, hinting at the story's development and the growing party as Lena and her friends pursue this legendary treasure and face off against the Mazoku. It seems like a walkthrough preview, getting players excited for the journey ahead in this new Slayers adventure. This walkthrough continues the Slayers game, covering several new locations. In Iselcent North Forest, the team battles Zod, who fails to predict their moves. At the Selyun Kingdom border, they encounter Galef Kynzard, who steals Lark's necklace, prompting a chase. In Free Grant City, Lena has a bounty placed on her head by Galef, requiring her to seek information. The walkthrough also highlights several mini-quests. In Gramstock's Cave, players can earn 1,000 gold coins by navigating a weak ground. In Sonia City, after story events, Mary gives an amulet, and another mini-quest is available. Iselcent City features a ghost exorcism mini-quest, offering rewards of infees and chips. This page details more of the Slayers game walkthrough, now focusing on Cusack City. It seems Lena has a bounty on her head placed by Galef, and he's holed up in a hidden house in the North Lake area of Cusack. The page also includes a dialogue section presenting the bounty hunter's side of the story. There's a section giving guidance about directions in the game, warning players to choose their destination carefully. The walkthrough then moves on to the royal capital Selyun, highlighting their arrival. The page also introduces the Cusack Bazaar, a location where players can enjoy minigames. Two minigames are detailed: Knight and Monster, described as a board game style challenge where you use pieces to corner an opponent, and a slot machine game available at the Selyun Inn Association, offering prizes. Finally, there's a mention of an Omake mode, which unlocks after clearing the game, promising extra content like viewing anime scenes, listening to voice clips, and accessing a sound test. This page is dedicated to the upcoming SEGA Saturn game, Virus, a hybrid adventure title nearing its release. It's advertised as a coming-soon title from SEGA Saturn Press. The game, developed by Hudson, boasts a 95% completion rate and is set to launch on August 22nd as a single-player crid-dram adventure. This is Complete Story Guide Part 2, which delves into the core of the Virus incident. It presents a simplified story chart outlining the initial stages of the narrative. The main character, Sarge, a cybernet agent from the organization Stand, along with his partner Erica, is investigating a virus outbreak within the cyber network that is transforming people into monsters. The story progresses through key locations. First, at Stand headquarters, they receive communication from an informant, Violet, leading them to a space colony. The mystery deepens as they investigate a girl's disappearance, hinting at a tragic outcome. Simultaneously, a net army emerges, their motives unclear, adding another layer of intrigue to the virus investigation. They learn about a female informant, Violet, an authority on processing alive, and surprisingly, also the criminal MacNorton. To meet MacNorton, Sarge and Erica head to a Mars colony. MacNorton becomes a key term in their investigation. Finally, the page previews a minigame called Voice Filter. This minigame involves removing noise to decipher the voice of an informant, showcasing a unique gameplay element integrated into the storyline. This page continues the Virus's story guide. It highlights the encounter with the first-class cybercriminal, MacNorton. Sarge and Erica meet MacNorton via monitor in a special booth to learn about the virus, AI, informants, and the backnet. MacNorton is profiled as a scientist specialized in processing alive, artificial intelligence, and genetic engineering, who turned to crime due to a certain incident and is now serving time in a cyber prison. The story then shifts to the information broker, Violet, who is described as knowledgeable about the backnet. Following MacNorton's lead, Sarge and Erica search for Violet in the desolate residential area of the Mars colony, which is run down and inhabited by suspicious residents. Continuing their investigation, Sarge and Erica explore a secret, password-protected area within the colony, accessible via elevator. This hidden floor is believed to be the location of a dive port to the backnet. Finally, the page introduces the disco area,
described as a seemingly ordinary disco, but it holds secrets. An old man in the disco is said to know about a hidden floor and important secrets of the Mars colony, urging players to listen carefully to his words. The page concludes with a "Truth is here" message, indicating a branching point in the game related to the virus, suggesting players save their progress before proceeding, as the story will diverge depending on choices made. This article explores the backnet in Virus Buster Surge, accessible via Heaven, a dive port in the Mars colony. The backnet has two primary zones: ReliveNet, a medical and fitness-focused network run by a religious sect, and ResortNet, offering entertainment like bars and casinos. Narrative presents two investigation paths for Sarge and Erica. Key characters introduced include Shelley Simpson, Erica's friend, Gil, a backnet authority figure who has been robbed, and Donna, Violet, an information broker. A minigame involving a cyber circuit board is mentioned, offering information as a reward. The article concludes with details on the game's opening movie, which has 3 versions: world-focused, story-focused, and a promotional version featuring the theme song. Following a bomb incident, Virus Buster Surge is drawn back into action in Virus Buster Surge. Investigating a monster outbreak in the ReliveNet, part of the backnet, Surge and Erica seek the source in Gil, a religious figure. Minigames, including a timed lockpicking challenge and a piano puzzle, aid their progress. After confronting Gil, Surge's investigation deepens into the backnet. Key characters include Sarge, Erica, Ash, Smiley, Twainer, Gale, Donna, and Mac Norton. The Colony Transbooth and the ReliveNet are the primary locations in this unfolding crisis, hinting at key areas within the game's narrative. This page delves into Langrisser IV, declaring its coming soon soft, and boasting a 100% completion rate, signaling its imminent release. The focus is on Scenario 13, titled Eddy Valley Battle. For victory in this scenario, you must wipe out all enemies, but defeat comes if the main character Landius falls, or if 20 turns elapse. The page highlights a battle map visually numbered 1 to 9 and lettered A and B, indicating enemy unit positions and reinforcement points. Enemy unit data is presented for locations 1 through 9, detailing various enemy types like Cruiser, Arbalest, Silver Knight, and more. Reinforcements appear at points A and B, featuring units such as Brave Knight and Hawklord, triggered on turn 11, or upon attacking Cruiser's unit. The page also lists items available in the shop, including weapons and equipment like longsword, flail, wizard rod, chainmail, hard leather, amulet, and orb. Gameplay tips advise careful planning even with 20 turns available, suggesting players to be wary of Arbalest counterattacks and recommending strategies for different enemy types like phantoms, centaurs, and mechanical soldiers. The page offers a strategic glimpse into Scenario 13 of Langrisser IV. This page provides an overview of Langrisser 4's character customization and details. Scenario 14, Rescue Cassant's Army. Character creation involves answering 2 sets of questions. The first, a card selection, Ace, Jack, Queen, King, impacts hidden class paths. The second, choosing preferences like Blue Summer Sky or Misty Mountain, directly influences class progression through paths A, B, C, and D. An example illustrates how these choices map to class branches. Scenario 14 tasks players with defeating Bulk and Emily while protecting their own units, including Cassassin's, Wheeler, and Serena. The primary target is the Cassant's King. The page outlines enemy unit types, Marshal, Mage, etc., and their map locations. It also details reinforcement triggers and lists available shop items, weapons, longsword, battle axe, etc., and armor, accessories, chainmail, orb, etc. This page is about the fighting game, Asuka 120% Burning Fest, Limited. It introduces the game as the pinnacle of GAL fighting games, emphasizing not only the characters, but also the fighting system itself. The page highlights a mega fight system that is powered up, suggesting enhancements to the game mechanics. It mentions that girls fight with 120% power to acquire large sums of money, which seems to be a humorous game premise. The new Saturn version features newly drawn characters, promising even more charm. The page showcases the character selection screen and gameplay screenshots. It introduces a character named Honda Asuka from the Chemistry Club, emphasizing her as a key figure in the series. There's a Point 1. Tate Naoshi section, which explains a game mechanic where players can recover from knockdowns and counterattack by pressing buttons with good timing in the opposite direction. The reviewer's comments are included, expressing excitement and recommending the game to fans. The page overall presents the game as a fun and engaging fighting experience, with powered-up systems and charming characters. This page continues introducing the characters from the upcoming fighting game, likely still Asuka 120% Burning Fest, Limited. We get to meet 4 new fighters. First up is Okubo Kumi, a star of rhythmic gymnastics and a first-year student. She is described as initially introverted, but has found her passion in gymnastics, and uses ribbons and hoops in combat. Next is Suzuki Megumi, an idol from a boys' school and leader of the cheerleading squad, bringing her energetic cheers and pom-poms into the fight. Then there's Toyota Karina, a childhood friend and self-proclaimed rival of Asuka from the biology club, known for her strong legs and kicking attacks. Lastly, Owada Nana represents a traditional Japanese dance club, wielding fans and a naginata, and comes from a strict family background in classical dance. The page also highlights 2 key gameplay mechanics. Technique counteraction occurs when both characters' attacks clash, resulting in no damage to either player, even in mid-air or with multi-hit moves. Counterattack is activated by pressing attack buttons simultaneously, allowing players to interrupt enemy attacks and retaliate, consuming the burning gauge. This move can also be used in the air, and its properties, like timing and number of hits, vary between characters. The page introduces 2 new characters for Asuka 120% Burning Fest, Limited. Katajo Torami, a karate expert with baseball aspirations, fights with karate skills and nimble footwork. Mitaraiki Kyoko, a softball star and future student council president, uses her glove and bat in combat. Gameplay mechanics are also detailed. Players can perform continuous techniques during jumps, and utilize a normal, double, or high jump to vary attacks. The guide encourages the use of jump attacks and trajectory changes to outmaneuver opponents. Finally, the page covers throwing techniques. Throws are initiated at close range and vary by character. Players can escape throws with well-timed command inputs, allowing for a throw escape to avoid damage. This page introduces 2 new characters for Asuka 120% Burning Fest, Limited, Candy Wild and Shindu Tamaki. Candy Wild is a pro wrestler who fights using wrestling techniques. Shindu Tamaki is a rhythmic gymnastics representative who uses ribbons as her weapon. The page highlights special moves, called Hisatsuwaza, and ultimate moves, Sai Shu Ugi. It explains that special moves are unique to each club, and filling the burning gauge, which significantly increases when these moves connect. Once the gauge reaches 100%, or even 120%, players can unleash incredibly powerful ultimate moves. The command inputs for both special and ultimate moves are designed to be simple, similar to previous games in the series, making them easy for players to execute. The page includes screenshots showcasing these characters and their moves in gameplay. This page showcases Mysterious Thief Saint Tail for the SEGA Saturn, a charming adventure game where you experience the everyday life of Mamie Hanioka, who is secretly the mysterious thief Saint Tail. The game is described as a one-of-a-kind adventure game, simulating her daily routine. The page details gameplay features such as going to school, enjoying meals, and experiencing regular school life from Mamie's perspective. Of course, you'll also be engaging in Saint Tail duties for everyone's sake. It highlights mini-games during class, which are triggered by a roulette that determines the subject. These mini-games cover various genres from action to puzzle, with a total of 8 types, some even supporting 2-player versus play. The page also touches upon after-school activities in the town, where you can shop and play more minigames. The reviewer notes, this game is a proper adventure game, not just a typical dating sim, and hints for progressing through the main story can be found in her father's dialogue. The game was slated for release on July 25th, priced at 6,800 yen. Mysterious Thief Saint Tail is structured as an adventure game, where you receive requests from Saint Tail at the church after school and experience original story events during your commutes. Progress depends on interacting with townspeople. As Saint Tail, you must outmaneuver Asuka Jr. and the police using magic. The game features a turn-based, mysterious thief phase, where strategic movement is crucial to avoid capture. The wind boat item helps bypass floor traps, but has limited uses. The game includes various episodes: Piece of Memories, recovering a photo album; Horror House, retrieving a camera; and a special episode, Magic and Magic, which hints at a time-sensitive event on Thursday between 7:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. Reika Uzaki, a transfer student, is introduced as a rival with hidden connections to the unfolding events. The game promises engaging storylines and characters. The next page showcases Phantasm, described as Sega Saturn's first 8 Candela's Room horror adventure game. The tagline asks, "Will her fate be decided by tarot cards?" The page highlights the story, which revolves around Adrian and others visiting a haunted mansion called Carlo's Mansion. This mansion is filled with strange occurrences. As Adrian explores the rooms, she finds a mysterious box under a book, unleashing a strange light that alters the fate of Dan, her husband, setting the stage for a tragic drama. The page introduces key characters: Adrian, the protagonist; Carlo, the owner of the mansion whose portrait is shown; Silas and Harriet, described as a married couple who help with chores; and the townspeople who knew Carlo when he was alive. A section titled Hard or Easy explains the game's difficulty selection, linked to tarot cards. It mentions that unlike typical save slots, Phantasm uses zodiac-themed cards for saving, depending on memory. When starting a new game, players can choose between hard or easy difficulty. In easy mode, a helpful skull icon guides players with item hints, ensuring players don't get stuck. However, in hard mode, this skull only laughs and offers no assistance, emphasizing that players must rely on themselves in the more challenging difficulty. The reviewer's comment praises the game for its immersive, movie-like horror experience, thanks to the use of full Japanese voice acting and emphasis on scenario, making it a top-tier horror adventure game from America adapted for Japan. This guide for Phantasm offers early gameplay tips. If you get impatient, you'll get stuck. Get a key. Advises players to speak to NPCs repeatedly to find a key to open a red door. Use both things and your head. Item utilization method describes the library beyond the door. Players must find a dog figurine, transforming it into a knife to enlarge a hole in the fireplace and access a hidden church. The Overture of Terror section reveals the church setting. Opening a box in the church releases a green light, causing Dan to collapse. A Carlo family tree book and a key to the box are mentioned. The guide concludes by emphasizing the game's terrifying nature, immersing players in the horror from Adrian's perspective, promising a scary experience for adventure game enthusiasts. This page is dedicated to Wiz, a new action game coming to Sega Saturn, developed by B Factory. You play as the magician rabbit, Wiz, in a fantasy world loaded with traps. Your goal is to clear each stage by navigating these obstacles and reach the goal. The game is in 3D with a quarter view perspective and is described as simple to play, but with hidden depth. Gameplay involves using actions like spin attacks and jumps. You'll need to break down walls by finding the right blocks to proceed. The page highlights different game elements, such as rocket platforms that launch you when you step on a button, extending bridges activated by switches that might require some puzzle solving to figure out. There are also health recovery mushrooms and items to extend your playtime. You'll encounter enemies like penguins and strange egg creatures. The developers mention that Wiz might look cute, but it's actually quite deep, suggesting players explore thoroughly and collect rockets hidden around the levels to receive a bonus after finishing the game. They also hint that there might be a reward for fulfilling certain conditions after clearing the game. This page presents the Sega Saturn Soft Complete Guide, which looks like a new section dedicated to in-depth coverage of Sega Saturn games after their release. The page features a prominent image of a shadowy, cloaked figure against a moonlit backdrop, possibly related to one of the games being covered. It seems this guide section will offer a thorough look at released Sega Saturn software. The page specifically mentions 3 games to be featured within this guide: Willy Wombat, Samurai Showdown 2-1, Blades of Blood, and Angel Graffiti's Profile to You. It seems this section aims to provide detailed information and insights into these titles and potentially other released games for Sega Saturn owners. This guide offers advice for struggling Willy Wombat players on the Sega Saturn. First, save frequently after completing each stage to avoid losing progress upon death. Second, take your time. There are no general time limits. and rushing leads to mistakes. Careful, deliberate play allows for item discovery and avoids dangers. Third, use directional inputs for attacks and movement, as the AQV system relies on precision. Lastly, if all else fails, use the forbidden spell. This spell, revealed through a secret formula discovered on the Saturn's screensaver using a specific character grid, makes the game significantly easier, especially as difficulty increases. The formula's appearance is linked to the Saturn's timer function and screensaver patterns, requiring players to decipher the secret code. This guide focuses on Area 3, Stage 2 of Willy Wombat, where the first boss appears. Though the main path is simple, exploring hidden paths is crucial, aided by provided maps. The guide warns of iron ball hazards. Proceed cautiously, especially near switch-linked doors. The strongest special move, Force, is acquired by following side path C after obtaining a key, using the key at point B. For 100% gem collection, find a hidden passage accessible via warp point A and jumping from rising platforms. The map highlights start/goal points, keys, key switches, and the force location. Players are reminded to use the map to find hidden keys and switches, often at the end of narrow paths. Additionally, a mysterious area with rising and falling platforms and a black space suggests further secrets. This page continues the Willy Wombat Guide, now focusing on Stage 33 and Stage 35. For Stage 33, the guide emphasizes the order of using keys to collect all gems, particularly around warp points B and C. It highlights that using warps and switches correctly is key to opening the path to the goal. The guide mentions that warp point B has many switches and might seem complex, but hitting all of them is crucial. Warp C is more combat-focused. The page also details a three-way intersection in Stage 33, advising players to explore the left and right paths first, before tackling the center path to ensure all gems are collected. Moving on to Stage 35, it introduces the first boss, Tagda. This is a boss fight in a circular arena. Tagda throws iron balls after stopping briefly. The strategy is to dodge the iron balls and attack when possible. The guide suggests not getting too close if Tagda is far away, and focusing on hitting him with iron balls when possible. It also mentions that attacking Tagda during his movement phase is ineffective. The page includes a map of Stage 33 and notes the player's power life at 247 and power life count is 2. Stage 4 of the Willy Wombat Guide expands the exploration area significantly. Thoroughly search for gems and power-ups by following Path A upwards, exploring both sides of the central path. Controlling hills and utilizing warps are key to accessing higher areas with valuable items. Be vigilant for enemies and use all warp points to avoid missing anything. This stage leads to the first boss, likely the Tagdanea fight. Use Warp H to progress. Stay calm during the boss battle, dodging attacks and finding openings. Following this stage, the game progresses to a snowy field with slippery footing, introducing new enemies like Wily and pursuers. The Samurai Showdown RPG Guide details the quest to reach Amakusa in the Sky Castle. Players must navigate challenging locations, including Mount Aso Crater, guarded by red Kuroko enemies, and the Dazaifu Training Ground, where they can level up against Hell Knights with paralyzing shining blade attacks. Inside the Worship Hall, accessed after descending Mount Aso and using a key, players will find Shiki and witness her transformation and tragic past. The adventure features key characters like Cham Cham and battles against formidable foes such as the Seven World Warrior, a thunder-wielding enemy with 1,000 horsepower, and Sally Lance, a weaker opponent. The climax reveals Amakusa's plan for world destruction as Maria's memories return. The protagonists must find a way to reach the Sky Castle, which has ascended, setting the stage for the game's final challenges. This page features a special interview with Ikuru Ikeda, a producer at SNK, discussing the Samurai Showdown RPG. Ikeda talks about the development concept of lowest limit rules, which allowed the team creative freedom within a set framework. He mentions Limru as a favorite character, appreciating her design and how she fits into the game's world. He touches on the game's difficulty, story, and the pressure of development, even humorously mentioning he had to cancel his wedding ceremony due to development delays. Ikeda also expresses his desire to create another scenario for the game in the future, and acknowledges that feedback was incorporated into the Saturn version. The interview gives insight into the creative process and challenges behind bringing the Samurai Showdown world into an RPG format. This guide for Angel Graffitis offers dating strategies to achieve happiness with one of the 5 unique girls. Players should choose their preferred girl early and manage time effectively, particularly during timed events, where careful button presses are crucial. The guide emphasizes the importance of making the best choice during dates to raise affection, as incorrect choices can lower it. Profiles for 4 of the dateable girls are provided, including their birthdays, hobbies, and gift preferences. To reach a happy ending, players must trigger character-specific events by raising affection. The guide recommends focusing on one girl at a time and prioritizing affection-building events before dating others. Success involves strategic dating choices and careful time management. This guide for Angel Graffitis prioritizes earning money through part-time jobs for successful dating, suggesting a balanced weekly schedule. Work is recommended on fire, water, and earth days, while studying suits month, water, and gold days. Stamina management is crucial. Rest before it drops below 70, as changing your schedule to rest can cancel dates. Aim for around 10,000 yen saved. The guide reinforces the importance of daily phone calls and approximately 10 dates per month to increase your love level, aiming for a 2-rank increase. It introduces 4 dateable girls, listing high affection spots. Focus is given to the transferred student heroine, Amano Misuzu, Kij. Key story moments are highlighted with screenshots. Meeting at the school gate, scenes in the bath and at the pool, Valentine's Day, a moment of worry, and summer vacation in the second year. This page explores the diverse world of Bomberman games across multiple consoles. The Famicom's original Bomberman offers stress relief, while Bomberman 2 introduced enhanced action. Super Famicom titles like Super Bomberman 2, 3, 4, and 5 provided expanded multiplayer features, varied gameplay mechanics, and character integration. Additionally, Bomberman Beat'em crossed over with the popular toy line. Other platforms featured Virtual Bomberman, Virtual Boy, the Bomberman GB series, Game Boy, and Bomber Boy. PC Engine offered PC Bomberman with up to 5-player support, along with Bomberman 93 and the definitive Bomberman 94. Lastly, SEGA Saturn's Saturn Bomberman boasted 10-player battles and online play via Saturn Bomberman X-Band. A side feature introduces Handa Yuki, a Hudson employee involved in game packaging and manuals, who shares her interests and ideal partner. SNK World 97 announced upcoming events and merchandise. The creator, Umemoto, previews the excitement for King of Fighters 97 and invites readers to Neo Geo Land. Recent prize items include KOF 97 character keychains and CDs. Neo Geo World offers new attractions and horror experiences, with transport information and an entry fee. The Neo Geo Freaks Gathering Space showcases merchandise like plush dolls and watches. Fan art is featured in the Sword Saint section. The player review praises Bushido Retsuden, likely Samurai Showdown RPG. SNK characters will debut solo keys with theme songs and voice tracks, starting with Kyo and Nakoru, released monthly. A Samurai Showdown corner encourages fan submissions for illustrations and text. Future plans include a renewal and a question corner with Umemoto, plus an illustration contest. Character birthdays and August events are also listed. This promotional page for Super Robot Wars F, Volume 13, focuses on fan engagement. It urges pre-orders for the game and adopts a summer vacation theme. The Spirit section highlights reader submissions, including praise for Gunbuster and an advertisement recommendation for Evangelion. Luck answers a Q&A about cockpit attack rules and clarifies the absence of the Shuffle Alliance. Hot-Blooded showcases fan enthusiasm for Dangeo and Getter 3. Relaxation features a humorous observation about Mazinger. Z Cool Guy presents a funny anecdote. The page concludes with a call for postcard submissions from fans eager to share their passion for the upcoming Super Robot Wars release, which is due in a month. This page is dedicated to Nanatsukaze no Shima Monogatari, brought to life by the amazing illustrations of Keita Amemiya. The star of the show is the Daizenmai, a really unique insect-like creature with clockwork elements, described as a rare pest on the island of Seven Winds, known for sucking tree sap. The residents are advised to chase them away. Interestingly, they also mention the Tateta cobra, which is a flat cobra creature that seems to be helpful to the islanders as guides. Quite the contrast. The graphic designers share their thoughts. revealing the challenge of capturing the original artwork's rich colors within printing limitations. They really enjoyed designing the Daisenmai, especially the blend of insect and mechanical designs. Very typical Amemiya style. Lastly, Garp Hakase no Genkai Kai section looks like it's advertising some kind of event or feature focused on Nanatsukaze no Shima Monogatari. It emphasizes experiencing Amiya's world through the game's characters and graphics, promising a deep dive into his artistic vision. Sounds like a title worth keeping an eye on if you're into Amiya's unique style. This page dives into Top Skater, the awesome Sega AM3 arcade game. It's part of their regular "It's Powerful" feature, and this time it's all about celebrating the upcoming national tournament. They're revisiting the game and giving us a refresher, which is great for anyone wanting to get in on the action. The big news here is Kids Mode. Apparently, if you enter this crazy button sequence at the course select screen, left 9, right 9, down 4, right 4, left 5, right 5, hold the foot controller forward, and tap left and right buttons 3 times, your skaters will transform into super cute, 3-headed versions of themselves. It's purely cosmetic, doesn't change gameplay, but it's a fun visual twist. They even mention that some might find it easier to see the action with the smaller characters. They highlight the character Ash, giving his profile details like age, height, and weight. It also mentions you can activate Kids Mode right from the character select screen as well. The page also announces the Skater Session 1997 tournament, sponsored by Levi's. There are preliminary rounds happening throughout August at various locations, followed by area finals at the end of August, and then the Stunt Trackers Trophy Finals in September for area champions. It costs 200 yen to enter, and you get original stickers just for participating. They'll be announcing the participating stores soon, so keep an eye out if you want to compete and grab those stickers. This guide to top skater scoring explains how to maximize points. Scores are calculated using base trick grade, speed, input difficulty, and combo multipliers. Higher grade tricks, faster speeds, and complex inputs earn more. Combo multipliers increase with consecutive tricks, especially when using jump ramps. Tips for jump spots suggest performing tricks at the edge for maximum points. And bank tricks can be styled using ollie or nollie before launching. Sliding directly from a jump ramp into a slide builds combos. Cool combo text turns green for rapid trick sequences within 1.5 seconds. Linking tricks from jump ramps or slides to other areas boosts scores. Screenshots and tables of trick scores help players optimize their moves. This page is a guide to building a garage kit model of the crossover Virtuoid from Cybertroopers Virtualon, presented by expert modelers Ayumi Sumiyoshi and Hideo Hasamoto. They are teaching readers how to assemble these sometimes difficult tend-to-build kits. The article is broken down into 6 steps, starting with gathering tools and materials like cutter knives, drills, sandpaper, glue, and surfacer spray. Next, it emphasizes checking all the parts against the parts list to ensure everything is there. Cleaning the resin parts is crucial to remove mold release agents, suggesting household detergents as an alternative to specialized cleaners. The guide then covers gluing parts together and using surfacer spray not only for paint adhesion, but also to check for surface imperfections. Finally, it's about checking the surfaced model for any flaws. It's a beginner-friendly tutorial walking through the essential stages of garage kit modeling with a Virtualon theme. This guide focuses on preparing and painting garage kit models. It details surface treatment, beginning with filling gaps and imperfections using putty, then smoothing them with a craft knife and sandpaper. Seam lines are addressed similarly. A surfacer spray is recommended to reveal any remaining flaws and prepare the surface. The next step is applying a white base coat, suggesting thin, even layers. This prepares the model for final color painting, which is similar to painting standard plastic kits. The guide encourages readers to try building a kit, emphasizing that the process is less daunting than it appears, and a Presents campaign is running where you can win resin cast kits or Virtualon long reside t-shirts by entering with a postcard. This page talks about the upcoming national tournament for Scud Race, with comments from the game's producer, Toshihiro Nagoshi. He explains that the intermediate course has been chosen for the tournament, as the beginner course is too simple and doesn't really test driving skill, relying more on luck. He also thinks the intermediate course is a good choice for enjoying the competitive aspect. The article details the tournament will be held at Sega Direct stores and affiliated locations nationwide, requiring 4-player battles. The entry fee is 100 yen, and participation is limited to 32 people per location, running a knockout tournament format. The schedule will vary by store, so it's best to check posters for specific dates from late July to late August. There are some perks for participants too. Everyone who joins in will receive a special Scud Race sticker, around 15 centimeters by 7 centimeters. Also, the results from all 80 participating locations across the country will be compiled and published exclusively in SEGA Saturn Magazine, highlighting the top 4 players from each location. This page reveals a scoop about a phantom promotional video for Scud Race. It seems this promo video was created at the same time as the arcade debut of Scud Race, but only shown at Sega's Direct Run stores. The images displayed are from this video, depicting unusual scenes, like a car seemingly imbued with life by candlelight, toy cars racing through giant apples, and dodging candy like landmines. Producer Toshihiro Nagoshi explains, this video is based on the dreams of a supercar. He incorporated live-action footage and even his own cat into it. Apparently, this special Christmas edition video was shown on December 24th at Shinjuku Alta. Moving on, it's announced that special Saturn Magazine posters will be available at the stores hosting the Scud Race tournament. These posters are designed by publicity designer Yamanaka and feature Jackie from Virtua Fighter, which he thought was a great fit with American cars. Finally, there's a big giveaway of these Jackie and Scud Race posters. These B2-sized posters will be distributed at 80 stores nationwide hosting the tournament. Saturn Magazine is collaborating to give these posters to readers, describing them as seriously cool, and urging readers to apply to get one of these dream collaboration posters. This week's Sega Saturn Soft Review covers 3 games. Full Carme Mini 4WD Super Factory, a simulation game based on the Mini 4WD anime, receives an average score of 6.33. Reviewers enjoyed the customization and realistic 3D environments, but some found the game lacked clear instructions. Rockman X4, Mega Man X4, earned a higher 7.0, with praise for its improved graphics, anime visuals, and engaging story. While the difficulty may be easy for veterans, newcomers will appreciate the balanced challenge. Lastly, Dense, Full, a unique title with Famicom-era Rockman aesthetics, scores a 6.0. Reviewers note its intense action, variety, and lack of continue restrictions, despite some rough scrolling and a dense feeling. Game reviews cover Last Bronx, Go 2i Professional Ego Taikyoku, and Gekitotsu Koshien. Last Bronx's reviews praise its Saturn port quality and character recreation from the arcade version, but critique the rushed story mode and limited original Saturn content. The reviewers want more elaborate endings and character development. Go 2i is considered a good practice tool for Go, even though the AI isn't fully developed, offering a challenging experience for beginners. Gekitotsu Koshien is appreciated for its realistic high school teams and familiar gameplay, but criticized for its presentation, lack of depth in team management, and rushed gameplay, with issues in timing and a feeling of disconnected gameplay. This page reviews upcoming games for August. Langrisser IV, a strategy RPG releasing on August 1st, receives praise for its deep story and returning characters. Kuro no Danshu, an adventure game out August 8th, impresses with detailed graphics and a Cthulhu-inspired mystery, suitable for mystery game fans. Saturn Music School, also releasing August 8th, is a music creation tool designed for beginners. Marvel Superheroes, an action fighting game, August 8th, showcases hero battles, with some frame rate issues. User feedback highlights positive reception for Langrisser IV, particularly from female players and high rollers, appreciating its accessibility, graphics, and strategic depth. Guest writers also appreciate Langrisser's return to its roots. The editorial summary highlights a strong software lineup, with many high-quality, visually appealing titles on the horizon. This page of Sega Saturn Magazine dives into secret techniques and cheats for popular games. First up is DX Human Life Game 2, where you can max out your character stats right from the start by simply entering Takara as your name. For Mr. Bones, they reveal a level select cheat using a specific button sequence. R, L, R, R, L, R, 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 and R. Moving on to A-Go, they introduce a true strongest mode, which can be accessed during a match by entering the settings menu and then inputting X, Y, and Z on the XYZ input screen. Gameware Volume 5 has a peculiar cheat about getting surgery for even weak soldiers after 10 weeks of special training, where you need to display the status screen and press Z and C buttons together. Lastly, for the Crow, they provide a list of password stage selects for levels like Pier, Boat, Tomb, Grave, Church, Dead, Club, Tower, Border, and Finale, using combinations of Y, B, A, X.
The page also includes a call for readers to submit their own secret techniques for games, mentioning prizes for accepted submissions like Saturn software and book coupons.
This page showcases a new software release schedule, essentially a preview of upcoming Sega Saturn games organized by release month. It's like a calendar of games for August, September, October, and November. You can see titles listed with their prices, the companies publishing them, their game genres, and compatibility notes such as controller types and age ratings. Looking at August, some of the games listed include Wiz, Darkseid 2, and Finalist. Moving into September, we see titles like Puyo Puyo Sun for SegaNet, which is interesting as it mentions online play, and The Romance of the Three Kingdoms, IV and Nobunaga's Ambition, Howden, both with power-up kits, suggesting enhanced versions of strategy titles. October features titles like J.League Pro Soccer and Kyan Kyan Baani. Then in November, there's Sakura Taisen Steam Radio Show and Ultraman Zukan 2, indicating a mix of genres from strategy to maybe even more niche titles. The page provides a structured overview for gamers looking forward to new releases, offering a glimpse into the variety of games coming to the Sega Saturn platform during this period. This page continues the new software release schedule, now detailing games coming out in Summer 98, Autumn, Winter, within 1997, Spring 1997, March 1998, and New Year 1998. For the summer of 98, you've got titles like Synchronicity and The Ruins, both adventure games, All-Star Baseball, and then RPGs like Princess Crown and Magical School Lunar. Moving into autumn, it's packed with diverse titles. Fighting game fans will be hyped for Guilty Gear and Virtua Fighter 3. There's also action games like Heart of Darkness, and even Sonic R for speedsters out there. Winter and the 97 sections are a bit more vague on release dates, but still showcase interesting games like Wizards Harmony 2, Sonic 3D Blast, World Soccer RPG, and further out in 98, Sakura Wars 2. It's a great look at the breadth of games planned for the Saturn across various seasons and into the coming years, really showing the variety of experiences on offer. Game Art's Subtle Relationships, Gaze from the Screen, by Fuse. Hiroto explores the power of visual connection in video games, using Tokimeki Memorial as a primary example. The author's interest in visual romance games was ignited by Real Sound, Cause No Regret, a game focused solely on audio that sparked imaginative imagery. The article examines the impact of a character's gaze on the player. In Tokimeki Memorial, the direct gaze of characters like Shiori Fujisaki fosters a sense of connection. The piece draws parallels to art, like Vermeer's Girl with a Pearl Earring, where the subject's gaze is central to the artwork's power. The author suggests that the captivating nature of the screen and the design of characters' eyes in visual games deliberately enhances this connection, creating a powerful bond between the player and the image. The article concludes by promoting Fuse Hirokito's research lab, Weekly Fuse Academia. This page is all about reader presents from Sega Saturn Magazine. It's showcasing a giveaway for lucky readers. First up, there are 20 Sega Saturn games up for grabs. Winners get to choose any Saturn game released before issue 30 of 1997. Next, for the Cyberbots fans, there's a super limited edition set with a secret file. Only one person will win this non-sale item, provided by Capcom, and it seems to be a prize left over from a previous treasure hunt. Trading card enthusiasts can rejoice, as 5 winners will receive sentimental graffiti trading cards, highlighting the popularity of these collectible items. Lastly, for novel lovers, 3 lucky individuals will win a signed copy of the Kaitu Yume Mizume novel by the creator, published by KSS. Below the prizes, there's a list of winners from the July 11th issue's presents, mentioning various people from different prefectures across Japan. At the bottom, it's noted that the Sega Saturn Magazine issue being advertised will be released on August 1st, and the following issue, number 15, will be out on August 8th. There's also contact information for inquiries about the magazine's content, specifying call times, and mentioning they don't answer game hint or cheat questions. There's a little note about the Slayer's world being explored in detail, which seems to be a highlight of the magazine's content. This page introduces Rhapsody Rabbit, a Sega Saturn exclusive fighting action game. The advert highlights the game's central premise, a battle for supremacy over the beast god jewels. It showcases 4 of the 8 playable characters: Egith, Yulin, Eddie, and Wuling. The page emphasizes key gameplay features, including fighting against 8 assassins, collecting 8 beast god jewels, unleashing powerful beast god attacks, an instant defense system for dodging attacks, and the ability to create original combo moves. Below the character introductions, screenshots of the game in action are displayed, and at the bottom, the price of the game is advertised at 5,800 yen, currently on sale. This page showcases 4 more characters from the Sega Saturn fighting game, Rhapsody Rabbit. We can see Rex, a muscular guy with a pipe; Jaco, a bandaged ninja-looking character; Tiandren, a blue-haired fighter with a yin-yang symbol; and Hoenn, a beast-like character with big hands and feet. The page title in Japanese, "Woo!" seems to be an exclamation, like "Unleash" or "Open up." Below the characters, there are small screenshots showing the game in action. It looks like this page is further introducing the playable cast of Rhapsody Rabbit. This page is dedicated to Real Sound, Wind Regret on the Sega Saturn. It's an intriguing title because it's advertised as a game you play entirely with sound, no visuals. The page features a picture of a woman standing on a beach, looking out at the ocean, which really sets a serene and slightly melancholic mood, very fitting with the regret part of the title. The text explains it's a serious love story, where you become the main character named Hiroki, and experience memories of your first love through audio. They describe it as a way to open your heart and evoke nostalgic and slightly bittersweet feelings. It's designed to resonate with a wide audience, promising a unique, emotionally driven story told entirely through sound. It's available on Crodrom and was being sold in convenience stores like 7-Eleven, Family Mart, Circle K, and Lawson. This game sounds like a very unusual and experimental experience, relying purely on audio to tell a love story.